104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
Off and rolling. Here on a Tuesday, May 5th, on a day that we are counting down the hours up until Game 2, round number 2, Stanley Cup playoffs, the Minnesota Wild and the Colorado Avalanche. I am almost literally on the edge of my seat. Mr. James Marilat, what up?
What's happening, ZB? Me too. I'm excited about it. It's a game day. We don't have one for the rest of the week. Right?
I hate that.
I do
hate
too. They
that.
don't play again until Saturday. What is it? They have
That's a
Mannheim Steamrollers in St. Paul, or what's going on? Like were they double booked?
I don't know. I haven't heard a reasonable explanation other than maybe the television schedule.
But anyhow, we got to enjoy tonight because it's going to be a bit of a break here. But no, very excited. We talked about it in the crosstalk. I think the Avs can put the series away today with a win.
James,
I'm just telling you, they're
All
not
right.
going to.
All right.
If they're up 2-0, you don't think it's over?
It probably is. I just, no one has said this more times than you. They've gotten out of the second round in only once, and it's been, I think, 7 of 8 years now, I want to say. They have been unable to get out of the second round, so I've waited a full year to get back to this point. I wanted to kill Phillip Lindsay. Kill him, take his life. This time last year when the Avs lost, and it was a Tuesday just like this. The Avs lost in the second round on a Sunday, and on Tuesday he's like, I'm ready to move on. I'm ready for next season. And I'm like, dude, wait, what? The body is still warm. I almost reached across the table and strangled him.
You were in mourning?
Yes. I'm like, dude, and a part of it is just experience stuff. You do this long enough and you're like, wait a second, you know how long it takes just to get back to the start of the next season and then live through the season.
Do you know how long it is till Broncos training camp?
Yes.
We got some time to fill.
Yes. So there was that dynamic that was at play, but kidding aside, I've waited a year for this moment to get back to the second round, the same round that the Avs have been unable to get out of for 7 of 8 years. And just because I believe with every ounce of me that they're going to do it, I don't want to get caught into assumptions that like this series is close to over. I don't think it's going to be easy. Even if you win tonight and go up 2-0, like you could be coming back for an all-important Game 5 here, tied 2-2.
I'm not trying to get ahead of myself either. That's why, because I'm not convinced they're going to win tonight. I'm not. I think your prediction and what we talked about yesterday, that, hey, this is going to be a lot like the Nashville series back in 22, where in the first game the Avs just, came out firing and they put up a 7 spot, and then the next game was a 2-1 Avs win in overtime. Like, I could very much see it being pretty much the exact opposite type of game from what we saw on Sunday night. Now, hopefully it goes the same way it did against Nashville, where the Avs, even though it's a low-scoring game, they're able to pull it out.
Right.
But if it goes to overtime, you picked it to be not a spoiler alert here, but you picked it to be a 3-2 Avs win in overtime. You get to overtime, that's one bad bounce, and it's a 1-1 series.
Correct.
And I think if that happens, this is going to be a dogfight. I think if they get to overtime, even in a low-scoring game, and they don't play great, but they get the bounce and they win it, I just do not see this team losing 4 out of 5 games to anyone, to any Olympic team, let alone to the Minnesota Wild. And I think the Wild are good, and I think they've got a lot of talent. I think it is a desperate move to change the goaltender, but I think you made a great point of he's a rookie. You got a lot of guys in that room of, hey, the rookie just gave up 8.
Right.
Maybe we don't roll him out again for Game 2 with our season on the line. And I almost think you owe it to the veterans in the room to go with a steadier hand, someone who, all right, maybe it was just the moment. I know it's not his playoff debut, but it's the Avs this time around. Maybe it just was too big for him, for Volstead, and they got to try something else. So I just think if they win tonight, and that's a big if they win tonight, this thing is over, and I don't think that's premature. I don't.
Well, I obviously hope you're right. I'm going to pick them to win tonight. I picked them to win the series. I've picked them to win the cup. I just don't want to get cavalier with our tone and how easy this is going to be, because I'm old enough and have been doing this job long enough that I sat in this exact seat a half decade ago, and I watched the Avalanche make mincemeat of the St. Louis Blues in the first round. Now, this is the 2020-21 series, or season, rather. Okay? Game number 1 was a blowout, 4-1 in the first round. They won game 2. They doubled them up, 6-3. Game 3 was 5-1. Game 4 was 5-2. They looked unbeatable. Again, this was the year before they won the Cup. They were favored to win the Cup.
Correct. They've been almost every year with Jared
almost
Bednar.
every year. But the year before they won the Cup, they were favored to win the Cup and swept their first round series, just like we saw the following year and just like we saw last week. Then they get to the second round. Do you remember who they played in the second round?
Vegas?
Yes. Game number 1 happens. Do you remember the score? Now I'm really putting you on the spot, so no worries. They beat the brakes off them to the tune of 7-1.
Okay. I was going to say like 6-2, but 7-1.
And we came in here feeling so good.
As you should have.
Right? And then game 2 happened. Now, I won't put you on the spot again. But game 2 happened in Colorado, and the game goes into overtime. And the Avs win 3-2. So they swept their first round series. They're up 2-0, and that's the record for the best start to a postseason in Avalanche history.
They're 6-0 at
They're
that point.
6-0.
Just like they'll be tonight if they win.
Exactly. So a bit of a history lesson here.
Okay.
You get to game 3, and you lose that first game in Vegas 3-2. And then game 4 happened, and you lose 5-1. And then you came back here tied 2-2. And I remember it like it was yesterday because I was there. The game went into overtime, and the Avs lost 3-2. And they went from being up 2-0 in the second round to being down 3-2, going back to Vegas, and the Avs lost 6-3. So from winning their first 6 postseason games and feeling so good about themselves, 6-0 and the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, I watched that group with this similar core lose 4 straight games. Now it's different. It's different up and down the lineup, but a similar core.
I mean, it's still McKinnon.
It's still Makar.
Makar.
And I watched them lose 4 straight. So again, I have been burned in the past by just assuming that they'd get it done. They're the favorites up 2-0. And again, to repeat myself, I think they're going to win tonight. I think they're going to win the series, but this is not going to be easy.
No, and that's a bit of a sobering history lesson, and it's not ancient history.
No.
Because it's a lot of these same guys.
Same coach, same best player, same second best player.
Yeah, so, okay, that's a good reminder. I think this team right now is better than the team that won the Cup on paper.
Yeah,
so
should be.
I also think they're better than the team that lost 4 straight to Vegas.
Agreed with that as well.
I don't have it in front of me. Who was the goaltender for that?
Grubauer,
team?
Philip Grubauer.
Okay, so it was Grubauer. Kemper came the next year.
Correct.
I think they're better in net right now than they were with Philip Grubauer.
I hope you're right. I believe you're right.
And that's what kind of fell apart for them. I mean, it wasn't all on him, but you lose the decisive game 6, you give up 6 goals. Part of that's on the guys in front of them because that's what we want to hear about game 1 and why Wedgwood gave up 6. But it's also on the goaltender. So listen, everybody's told me how they got a guy. He got snubbed for the Vezina. He should have been a finalist. I don't think anybody was saying that about Gruby.
No,
5 years ago.
No, but Gruby also wasn't leading the league in save percentage and goals against. But I didn't have a problem with Wedgwood not being a finalist. I thought he had an argument.
Me neither.
But I really didn't because there's a couple things at play. One, you're not a full-time starter. And the guys who are on that list are full-time starters. They're unequivocal. There's no discussion about like whether Vasilevsky is going to be in between the pipe. So but also a lot of the advanced metrics because of the defense that the Avs do have in front of someone like Scott Wedgwood, the counting numbers say he was the best. But a lot of the advanced metrics say, boy, oh boy, it's a heavier lift for a lot of these other goaltenders.
But this is also a team that, look, they won the President's Trophy for a reason. Best offensive team in the NHL.
Best defensive team
team in the NHL.
Yeah.
Okay, if they go up 2-0 and they blow the series,
it'll be a catastrophe.
Agreed. And they still probably wouldn't make a change. They still would just run it back because that's what KSE does. I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, so let's not
concept.
Then. So let's not.
You're the one that brought out the history books here.
I'm just cautioning the cavalier tone that this is going to be easy.
I was planning on watching TNT tonight, and you're breaking out the History Channel.
I'm just telling you. I've lived through it. We've all lived through it. But you get far away enough of it, you forget what you lived through sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean we kind of saw it at least for a quarter. At least for 5 quarters, a game in 1 quarter with the Nuggets not that long ago.
Right.
That's really recent history. I'm not going to waver from my contention that this group, which is I think a way better team than they were 5 years ago, and that was a good team.
Yeah, they're much better now.
I just don't believe if they go up 2-0 that they're going to lose 4 out of 5 games.
I don't either,
I
James.
just don't.
I don't. So we agree. We agree on everything here. And we just splinter off with the tone of it that, hey, win tonight, it's over. I don't believe that.
I'm going to book flights to Anaheim, and you're not. Okay, got it.
All right. If you want to react to any of that conversation, you can hit us up on the RamosLaw.com text line, 303-713-1043. Do you see it? Well, we see it similarly. We just splinter at the very end when it comes to some of the, not assumptions, but whatever the second cousin is of that. You got one more thing?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I'm with you.
All right. Interesting comments from the self-proclaimed vocal leader of the Nuggets? Huh. That's next.
Game 1 wasn't hockey, it was chaos on ice. A 9-6 shootout where defense evaporated, goaltending cracked, and the Avalanche and Wild traded haymakers like it was October, not May. Incredible! Now comes Game 2, and the question is simple. Does it settle down, or does this series stay unhinged? Colorado wants control, Minnesota wants revenge, and after a night where anyone could score from anywhere, nothing feels predictable. Avalanche, Wild. Game 2, tonight. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I got an email from a guy named Mark, retired firefighter, tough guy. Never asked for help in his life, but he told me the rising cost of everything finally caught up to him. Groceries, insurance, prescriptions. It was all hitting at once. And he said, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'm falling behind. I told him there's nothing to be embarrassed about because American Financing hears stories like this every day. They walked him through a refinance, looked at his whole financial picture, not just his credit card debt that had piled up. With a refinance, he learned he may delay 2 mortgage payments and may close in as fast as 10 days. Then he heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, and he said it felt like someone finally opened a window in a stuffy room. 1 payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped Mark make his equity his exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000 or online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 18234, NMLS 1823334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Progressive knows you could have easily taken the freeway, but you took the scenic route to see a waterfall and an oddly busy boiled peanut stand. Discovering the unexpected is exactly why you bought an RV, so protect it with a bundle from Progressive. Because although you may be 3 hours behind schedule, you're 6 jars of jam richer and possibly enrolled in a butter-churning workshop. Switch to Progressive and protect your RV, boat, or motorcycle by bundling with your home and auto insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
I'm Corey Rose, anchor at 9 News and proud mama who enjoys taking my kids mountain biking at Winter Park. I love preparing you for the day ahead with the latest headlines. Whether it's tackling safety in our kids' schools or covering breaking news, from Aurora to Lakewood and everywhere in between, we've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Colorado's #1 streaming newscast. Make the move to 9 News Mornings. Live starting at 4:30 anywhere you watch.
If you miss the filing deadline again, the consequences can be substantial and the penalty is huge. After 5 months, you'll owe late filing penalties of 25%, not to mention interest. The recent IRS tactics include prosecuting more non-filers, often criminally. So call the people I trust, Advanced Tax Solutions. They will help you get back into the system and off the IRS's radar. 303-753-6040 or visit advancedtaxsolutions.com.
Most people don't think about their garage door until it stops working. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Door Service. A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. There's never a good time for your garage door to break, whether you're rushing to work or you're trying to get the kids to school. We know how much you rely on your garage door. That's why we offer same-day repairs, because life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Over 90,000 five-star reviews don't happen by accident. They happen by putting people first. Fixing your garage door is what we do, but making your life easier and your home safer is why we do it. Families trust us because we deliver, and we'd be honored to earn your trust too. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Door Service today.
The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's brought to you by Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, rolling along here. We'll get back to Avs. We talked about them for the first 2 segments, and rightfully so. We're just about 3.5 hours from the puck dropping at Ball Arena for game number 2. And I want to shift gears here because interesting comments from Christian Brown to the Denver Post talking about the first-round exit. Quote, "It's just unacceptable, especially with the talent we have on this roster. I think when we come here every single year, we talk about championships. That's our mindset and our goal. And obviously, we fell short. A first-round exit's not acceptable. We got to bounce back. We got to get to work. You can kind of put it on my shoulders. I think this team wasn't resilient enough in the playoffs." When asked to expand, James Marilat filling in for Phillip Lindsay today, when asked to expand on that comment, put it on my shoulders, he said, quote, "I just think I'm the leader of this team. I'm the vocal leader of this team. And when we don't play well as a whole, you can blame whatever you want. You can blame anything. But I didn't play well enough as an individual, and I didn't have this team ready enough to play in a tough series. So we'll be better. I'll be better. I'm looking forward to next year when we can respond," end quote. Brother, I got to tell you, man, these quotes kind of caught me off guard with the seemingly disproportionate view of oneself and his role in the hierarchy of what this all is.
I would agree with that from the standpoint of if we'd have started the show and we'd have gone around the room and asked you and I and asked Dante and asked Drew, like, hey, list the top 3 leaders on the Nuggets. Would anybody have said Christian Brown? I can't believe you're thinking about it that much. But
well,
okay.
here's the thing. Here's why I'm thinking about it that much. Because who I wouldn't have said is Jokic and Jamal Murray.
As the leaders of this team?
As the leaders of the team, they're not natural leaders. I think that maybe kind of like lead by example type.
Okay, because
Jokic for sure, Jamal. There's been a lot of questions up until this year about that.
You're going right where I wanted to head. In that, I think most fans, if you said, "Hey, name the leaders of the Nuggets," they would have said the big three. They would have said Jokic, Murray, AG in some sort of order. I think some people maybe would have put AG one. Mm-hmm. If you said who are the,
I think I might, by the way,
and I don't think that would be crazy. And I think if you said, "Hey, who are the vocal leaders?" It's probably the same group. Maybe you throw in a Bruce Brown.
I'd say AG. Yeah, Bruce Brown.
Maybe he's in the conversation.
Yeah, he's kind of the soundtrack oftentimes of the team.
He kind of gives them that toughness. I think back to the championship year when he got in the huddle when the Suns were trying to take a free time out. And, it's like, okay, that's a leadership type of a move. I don't think a lot of us would have said Christian Brown. And that's why these comments kind of take us back. And our initial reaction is, this guy has no sense of self. Is he delusional? What's he talking about? What if he's right? What if he is the vocal leader in that locker room? What if he is the guy who's standing in front of everybody and trying to get everybody fired up and trying to get everybody ready to play? That is a major, major red flag / problem.
Yeah.
Because you got a guy making $55 million a year who's supposedly the best player in the world. You used to say this all the time about Von Miller. Hey, you know what? He's been in the league a long time. He's just not wired that way. He's not going to change.
Never has and never will be.
And my point was always he ain't 22 years old anymore.
Right.
Peyton Manning isn't on this roster anymore.
Right.
You're the highest paid guy on the team. You have to grow into being a leader. You, as an adult male, can't just act like you did at 22.
No.
Why did Von Miller get to not change over the course of 8 to 10 years?
And you shouldn't naturally want to, by the way.
Agreed. So maybe Jokic, when he first came over here, and look, he was a project, and the language barrier and all the other things. You can come up with all sorts of excuses, reasons, not even excuses, reasons why for him to not be the leader early in his career made sense. It's inexcusable if he's not the leader of this team. I watched the documentary about the Olympic basketball tournament where they follow Canada and France and the U.S. and Serbia.
Yeah.
He sure as heck's the leader of that team. He sure as hell plays a lot harder for that team than he seemed to play in Game 6 in Minnesota.
Well, I don't want to get carried away that Jokic doesn't play hard.
Did he seem to care as much in Minnesota in Game 6 as he did in Paris?
He went there was pockets in Game 6 where he was not, I don't think, as aggressive as he needed to be.
Okay.
I don't know about not playing hard. I can't quite go there. But there's clearly, look, we've sort of talked about this in a sometimes a veiled way and sometimes a direct way for quite some time, that you would like Jokic to take on the mantle of the franchise. And in a way that I think that we're actually seeing with Bo Nix happen in real time.
Yeah.
Despite my concerns about his ankle, like when he did what he did against the Buffalo Bills, I thought he took ownership of the franchise. He walks like a CEO. He talks like a CEO and has since coming into the National Football League. Jokic never has. I'm not trying to excuse it and never will try to excuse it, because the best case scenario, and just to stay with football, the best case scenario is your leader is who? Your quarterback.
Yeah.
Right? Jokic is the quarterback here. And he does not have it in his DNA. And I just think that if we haven't seen it, I mean, he goes out of his way. It was this season where he's like, I'm not getting up and talking in front of everyone. Like, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Like, I'll do it once in a while. And it's like, it's just, there will always be, Jokic is one of the all-time great players. He's going to do a backflip in the Hall of Fame. He doesn't need to make one more basket to be there. Like, literally not one. But there will always be a floor on top of where he is currently at in terms of his ceiling. So like an actual floor, like in a building, there will always be an empty space on that top floor for the void that he does not have in natural leadership here.
I don't know that I can buy into it's not in his DNA, because I saw it when he was playing for Team Serbia.
But here's the thing, James. I read the book about him. He's never had this natural, like burden to lead. It's almost the opposite.
It's the same free pass we gave Vaughn.
I'm not giving him a free pass.
He's
I'm not giving him a free pass.
He's a fun-loving guy. It's just not his DNA. It's not his personality.
I just said he'll never reach the full ceiling of who he is unless
then he's not an all-time great player.
He is an all-time great player.
No, he's not.
He is.
Did we ever say Kobe wasn't the leader of that team? Or Michael wasn't the leader of that team?
No, you didn't.
Or Tim wasn't the leader of that team?
No.
Or LeBron?
Well, hold on. LeBron's leadership has been questioned in the past. Tim Duncan is not a demonstrative leader like Jordan and Kobe
He was the clear leader of that team. He and Pop.
I'm just like, I don't.
It wasn't Manu. It wasn't Tony.
I don't think that you have to check an intangible box to be an all-time great. I don't, because seeing is believing. Are you telling me that Jokic isn't an all-time great player?
I think there's elements to being in that conversation that go beyond your ability to score, pass, and rebound.
I got it.
And I think when you lose to a G League team in an elimination game, then you're not an all-time great player. Sorry, you're not. So part of that is because he's not a leader, because Christian Brown thinks he's the vocal leader of this team, which if Christian Brown was on a Kobe team, do you think Christian Brown would ever go out and say, I'm the vocal leader of this team?
Never. So in some ways, Christian here is filling a void.
Agreed.
He's filling a void.
I don't think he's delusional. I think this points out the biggest problem with the Nuggets is that Christian Brown, who's maybe their seventh best player?
Right now, unfortunately, yeah.
Considers himself the leader and vocal leader of the team.
And he followed up and said, I'm the vocal leader. Initially, he said, I'm the leader of this team, with a period at the end of the sentence.
This would be like
Christian Brown saying he's the leader of a championship contender? Would it be like that?
Okay, but it would be like if Evan Ingram went on a podcast and said he was the leader of the Broncos. We'd all drive off the road when we heard it. We're like, wait, it's not Bo? What are we doing? And I know people think I'm too critical of Nikola Jokic, but it bothers me that for the organization paying him $55 million, he doesn't seem to care as much as he cared when he was playing in Paris for Team Serbia. That bothers me. If I'd have watched that documentary, and he did more coaching than the coach. He was at the whiteboard drawing up plays.
And that's what we saw that after Malone got let go last year, and I really thought that it could have been a preview of what was to come, but it never came.
And he when he says, I'm not going to get up in front of the guys, it's not because he can't. It's because he doesn't want to. That's a problem to me.
Well, this Nugget situation, I want to get back into it at the top of the hour because there is so many layers to this offseason. And this latest installment, these quotes from Christian Brown, it just adds another one on top of it. Let's put a pin in this. You got something on the tip of your tongue?
Because you don't always have to have, like Kobe and Michael have a certain personality, right?
Yeah.
Who was the leader of those Warriors teams during their dynasty?
It would have been Steph Curry.
Correct. He's not a demonstrative guy. Like, he was the leader of the team.
Yeah.
He was the guy. Nobody would have said it was their seventh best player ever. I mean, this is ludicrous.
I don't think you sound crazy, but we diverge when you strip Jokic of an all-time great player because he's not enough of a leader for you.
Well, he's got one championship. He's been to one NBA final. He's lost 3 times with home court advantage. He's lost in the first round twice.
Hold on a second.
He just lost to a G League team in an elimination game.
Hold on. I'm going to take you a little bit to task coming up next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Max HELOC is a game changer and can lower your bill significantly without affecting your current loan. How much savings depends on your unique situation, but you could borrow $250,000 with a payment option as low as $495 a month. Consolidate your debts and make life a lot easier. We make it easy to save, and you don't need perfect credit either. U.S. Mortgages, and our number says it all, 303 low rate.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
When a semi-truck hits you, it's not always just a fender bender. First, it's the missed work. Then the medical bills pile up. And these big rig companies can move fast with teams of lawyers, investigators, and denials. If you're not ready, you're already behind. At the Berg Simpson Law Firm, we've handled these cases for decades. So if you've been struck by an 18-wheeler, call us at Berg Simpson today.
If you've been injured, call Berg Simpson for free now at 303-790-2525. BergSimpson.com. Good lawyers changing lives.
Non-stop rodeo action at Cheyenne Frontier Days. Contestants competing for more than $1 million and the most coveted championship title. Every ride and every run counts. No second chances. It's sudden death. Move on or ride off into the sunset. Only at the daddy of them all. Rodeo tickets on sale now at CFDrodeo.com. Cheyenne Frontier Days, the wildest ride in the West.
Mother's Day is Sunday, May 10th.
As a mother myself, I'll tell you, she's not going to remind you. She's way too busy being mom.
Which is why we are. Make your Mother's Day unforgettable with a little something truly special from Williams Jewelers.
Prices start at under $500, and we have thousands of fine jewelry choices from names she knows and loves like Marco Biccigo, Paul Morelli, and Goshwara.
How about a beautiful diamond cross or precious sterling or gold locket for mom?
A Monica Rich Kozan locket with the kids' pictures inside will become a family heirloom she'll cherish for life. We promise.
This Mother's Day, come home to family.
Come home to Denver's first family of fine jewelers, Williams Jewelers of Inglewood.
Where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers of Inglewood, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche. In Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue, and right now online at WilliamsDiamonds.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. It's no secret, the price of HVAC equipment is going to increase this summer. May is one of the best times of the year to buy a new HVAC system. Be ready for a hot, hot summer and get the best prices of the season. Finance a new HVAC system for $200 a month or get 0% interest only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
One-wheel Broncos talk. Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, just to continue this conversation, we were supposed to move on to something else, but you just, James, you speak with an inflammatory tone when it comes to the most accomplished athlete in the history of Denver sports.
I would agree with that comment.
Well, it's not to be debated. I mean, it's open and shut case. We've never had a career like Jokic's here in Denver. Not Elway, not Larry Walker, not Terrell Davis, not Peyton Manning. No one, based on merit and resume.
Wait a minute.
Not sentiment, but based on merit and resume, no one in this town has ever won multiple MVPs other than Nikola Jokic.
Well, John Elway won 2 Super Bowls and went to 5.
He did.
He didn't get bounced in the wild card round every year.
Well, I mean, hold on a second.
He did on occasion, but he went to 5 Super Bowls.
I got it.
So would you rather go
Denver
to 5
Nuggets
Super Bowls and have 2 titles out of those 5, or go to 1 NBA final, win 1 title, and have 3 MVPs?
I flip a coin. I mean,
oh my God.
How many guys in the history of NBA basketball have 3 MVPs? I can help you. There's 8 of them. No, hold on a second.
Wait a minute.
Because hold on a second. I want to address what you said going into the most previous break, and then we can pick back up our swords on this separate argument. When you minimize him for losing in the first round, I got it. Hold on. Let me just say this. Jokic is not infallible. He is not above reproach or criticism. I myself have criticized him through the years. All right? And as most recent as, I don't know, 4 weeks ago when I'm like, look at his body. He's way overweight as we're going into the postseason. Now, he lost nearly all of it, maybe too much. He looked really skinny in this second round. But he's not without reproach. But that being said, I understand losing in the first round was a disaster. You know who else also lost in the first round? Magic Johnson. You know who else lost in the first round? Kobe Bryant. The same guys that you were naming.
How many times?
You know who lost to an 8 seed in a 1-8 matchup? Tim Duncan. So you're using Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant to represent what Jokic isn't, and I'm here with evidence and facts to point to and say, no, this actually happened to those other guys too. I'm not a defense lawyer. I'm not saying it's okay, but what I'm saying is I do not believe in 10, 15 years we're going to look back and say Jokic wasn't an all-time great because he lost in the first round without Jamal Murray against the Suns and without against the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Listen, I guarantee you if he's got 1 title in 10 or 15 years, nobody's having a conversation about him being an all-time great. They're just not.
Not one of the greatest. He won't be at the big boy table, but like right now, do you agree that Jokic is a top 20 player of all time? Top 20.
Probably.
Okay.
But look, sure, Magic lost in the first round. How many times? Not more times than he won titles.
I'd have to look it up. I mean, I remember so much so he was such an embarrassment in the postseason. It was jokes. He had nicknames after him because of how bad he was in the postseason.
He as a rookie.
I got it. And then the rest of his career happened, and there was some really low moments for Magic Johnson.
How many times did Kobe lose in the first round? It was the Sun series. Was that the series where he refused to shoot the basketball? He was trying to make a point to the front office.
No, it was the Sun series when he was hitting game winners. They were up 3-1
but he
and
also
lost
won
in 7.
5 titles.
Right.
Tim Duncan lost the first round as a 1 seed. Got it. It's embarrassing. He won 5 titles.
I got it.
This guy's won 1 title. He's lost in the first round twice, and everybody wants to come up with excuses. Oh, they didn't have Jamal. Well, I just watched a series where a team without their best player was able to win a series. So it's not mission impossible unless you're Nikola Jokic and you play in Denver and everybody's afraid to hurt your feelings and nobody wants to call you out on your failures.
No, that's not true. Because I can do it right now. He's not a natural leader. He's just not. And he can be more of one. He has not accepted the full mantle of responsibility of what it takes to be because here's the difference. You can be an all-time great player but still not be at the big boy table of the GOAT conversation. See, like if Jokic, and I've been steadfastly saying this for many months, if Jokic finishes his career with just 1, you cannot sit at that table.
Agreed.
Every single other greatest player in the history of basketball has multiple titles with 0 exception. With 0. So he will be in that, he's top 20 in the same way that Moses Malone is, in the same way that maybe someone like Kevin Garnett is. But he will not be at the big boy table with Jordan or Kobe or Duncan or Shaq or Bill Russell or Kareem or Magic or Larry.
Well, and the records he's always seeming to break is like he's on a list with one other guy, and it's Wilt Chamberlain, right? Like we hear that all the time. And Wilt, he did win multiple, but he only won 2. And if there's a reason why Wilt Chamberlain's name doesn't come up in the greatest player of all time conversation, because he's arguably the most dominant player of all time.
But he shouldn't. He's arguably the most overrated player of all time as well. I would argue
and
that.
Part of the reason he doesn't come up is because he won 2 titles.
Right.
He couldn't beat Russell.
Couldn't beat Bill
head
Russell.
To head.
Yep.
He couldn't beat wherever he was playing. If he was playing against the Lakers, he also lost like 4 championships where he lost Game 7 by a combined 7 points. Right. So he's like 8 points away from having 6 titles, but he doesn't have 6. He's got 2. He doesn't come up in the conversation. People aren't going to remember in a decade that Nikola Jokic didn't have Jamal Murray when they got swept and then got gentlemen swept in back-to-back years. They're just going to look at it and go, man, that doesn't happen with an all-time great, and people aren't wrong.
Okay, I'm going to circle back to this. We can continue this conversation. You can let us know how you feel in our YouTube chat, sponsored by Shop Honda. We have a massive game in 3 hours from now. I want to talk about what can't happen tonight if they want to go up 2-0, and also I want to take a sobering look at the Denver Nuggets roster heading into an offseason that is massively important. Maybe it's everything. We'll extend that conversation next.
The Nuggets need a fresh spark. So why bring back David Edelman? After another postseason full of issues, confusing rotations, and tough questions, Denver doubles down on its original mistake. Is this loyalty or lack of imagination? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Usually when something sounds way too good to be true, it is. Imagine someone says you can cut your mobile bill in half. Sounds like a fantasy, but with Xfinity Mobile, it's the real deal, because when you have Xfinity Internet, you can cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. That's a lot of streaming, sharing, scrolling, and whatever else you can do with your phone. All for half price and none of the commitment. That means you'll save big over Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Now all you have to do is think about how you'll spend all that extra money. Call 1-800-XFINITY, go to XfinityMobile.com, or visit a local Xfinity store to switch today. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Savings compared to one line of Xfinity Mobile selected to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, it's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
This is the sound of Claire, cooking dinner at home. And that's the sound of a fraud alert from Wells Fargo, flagging a charge for a pricey restaurant in Paris. Considering Claire isn't in Paris right now, that seemed odd. To the bank and to Claire. 2 taps later, Claire says nope to the charge, and Wells Fargo is on the case. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
She walked miles with her granddaughters every day at Disney with zero knee pain, but she couldn't have done that months ago. This all started with a visit to QC Kinetics.
We have spent the last 4 days going from park to park, walking all day long, no pain. I feel fantastic.
Here's what baffles people when they hear Kathy's story.
The doctor said, you need 2 full knee replacements. And I said, that's not going to happen. I went to QC Kinetics. I started treatment that day. Within a couple of weeks, I was absolutely pain-free.
It's the kind of story that QC Kinetics hears from patients all the time.
I cannot thank QC Kinetics enough for giving me my life back. I'm active again and loving it. I'm well over a year out. I've had absolutely no pain in either knee.
Before you agree to surgery, listen to this. Think about it.
Tomorrow is Animal Kingdom, so yeah, gotta go.
Kathy's glad she took them up on the free consultation. We have one set aside for you.
Call QC Kinetics, 303-900-8986. That's 303-900-8986. 303-900-8986.
I'm Rob Wilhite, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has stood beside Colorado families after serious car accidents. With over $1 billion won, we know how to fight for you. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WillHiteWins.com. That's WillHiteWins.com.
A family office is a team built to handle the 3 biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. Leading off with the big story of the day, here's The Drive with Zach By and Denver, Colorado's own Phillip Lindsay.
1 hour in the books. Quicker than a New York minute. Hanging out with you here on a Tuesday, just 3 hours ahead of Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals. That first hour was a blur. Me and James going at it like we often do.
It was spirited.
Yeah. It's fun, man. And we got to remind ourselves, like, and not necessarily you and I, but seeing some of the stuff on the RamosLaw.com text line, we're sitting here arguing about sports.
Yeah, exactly. We're arguing about whether or not Nikola Jokic, a Denver Nugget, is an all-time NBA great. I never would have thought I'd have that conversation, let alone that debate. So, yeah, you got to kind of keep it all in some context.
Yeah, and there's people mad at me for saying that Jokic's resume is better than Elway's, and we disagree on that. But who would have thought 10 years ago that you could actually formulate the argument that someone could even be on John's doorstep or even have a more illustrious career than John Elway? And I know I can make the argument. I think it's a winning argument. Not that yours doesn't have merit because there's 2 championships instead of 1. But, it's really a lot of towns can't have these conversations. You know where you can't have conversations like this? Real talk. Minnesota.
Yeah, who's in that debate in Minnesota?
Have the Vikings ever won a championship?
No.
Have the Timberwolves ever won a championship?
No.
In fact, before Anthony Edwards played for the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Timberwolves advanced out of the first round 1 time in team history.
The state of Minnesota, city of Minneapolis, St. Paul, haven't won a title since the Twins in the early 90s. And I think they won 2, the Kirby Puckett years.
Yeah.
That's it. So they're going on 35 years since they've really sniffed a title.
It was 87 and 91,
yeah.
if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so since 1991, 35 years. Vikings lost 4 Super Bowls, but they haven't been near one in that long.
Long time.
Longer than that.
Long time.
It was back in the 70s that they were playing in Super Bowls. So, yeah, they don't have that debate there. I actually think you can make the argument. I mean, because it's Elway and Jokic that are 1-2. I still think Peyton Manning's the greatest Bronco of all time, which I know sounds odd, but if you're just looking at career
God, I remember this. Wasn't this like a COVID exercise?
It was one of the things we did at DenverSports.com. 60 greatest Broncos of all time. 2 most controversial additions were Tim Tebow being number 60. You can't write the history of the Broncos without Tim Tebow. You just can't. It was one of the most magical years in the history of Denver sports. And I had Manning won his career. I mean, he was an MVP. They had the best offense of all time. Went to 2 Super Bowls in 4 seasons. I think during as a player, he was a better Bronco. But
so hold on a second. You have Manning with his 1 Super Bowl win, when he was mostly a shell of himself.
1 out of 4 years, though. 25% of the time, he's winning a title.
Hold on.
He's going to the Super Bowl half the time.
So the fact that he played 4 years here actually helps his case by your evaluation of it.
In that assessment, yes.
So in that assessment, so Manning and his 1 Super Bowl win when he was a shell of himself is greater than Elway. But Jokic, with his championship, MVP, Finals MVP, and 3 MVPs, less than Elway, but Manning in his 4 years greater than Elway.
If you made me take, if I was building a team of all-time Broncos,
that's not what we're saying.
I'm taking Peyton Manning to be my quarterback.
But that's not who's had the better career in Denver.
You're talking about resumes, and we were talking about Elway and Jokic. I would take Elway's ahead of Jokic. I didn't tell you where I'd put Peyton.
But you take Peyton's 4 years over Elway.
Correct. By the way,
we're going to study your brain long after you're gone.
Can I
to see what the hell's going on up there?
You haven't called me a psychopath yet today, so that's a step.
Well, we're
in the
only
right
through
direction.
hour 1.
Good point.
So.
Can I give you a quick rundown? I'll make it quick. Of Magic Johnson's years with the Lakers.
You don't need to. I know them all. He was in the NBA Finals 9 times.
Right.
I know his career.
He went in the first round once.
But what I'm saying is, dude, they called him Tragic Johnson. You know what he did in Game 2 of the night? I think it was the 80. I'm not going to put a year on it because I honestly forget in this moment. James, imagine if Nikola Jokic in the NBA Finals dribbled out the clock because he thought he had a lead, and the game goes into overtime and you lose.
I get
it. That happened, but we get so far away from it, like no one mentions it. Jokic's career will be remembered for the great moments, and there's been some great moments and record-breaking seasons, multiple. Like we've never seen an international talent like Jokic ever. He's one of the 20 greatest players of all time. The Denver Nuggets have been an also-ran NBA franchise up until that man walked through the door. They had never even appeared in the NBA Finals. Carmelo Anthony was arguably the greatest player in franchise history. That man was never first-team All-NBA. Jokic 3 times MVP. And we just get desensitized. And I'm not saying in this moment he doesn't deserve criticism, but because he does. And I know that. And I've been critical of him. But we have got to be careful. James, you have got to remember and I shouldn't have to tell you. I shouldn't have to tell you of all people that what things were like before he was here. And I'm talking about over the course of 4 decades. And now it's just like, man, you want to trade the guy. And I'd say be careful.
What they were before he got here doesn't matter at this point. It's the same pushback I get when I'm tired of the same old, the Groundhog Day up in Boulder when it comes to Tad Boyle. That every single year they're going to be in the high teens for wins. They're going to be on the bubble. All the TV people are going to go up to Tad's house on Selection Sunday.
Somehow Tad's getting it. Oh, my God.
They just didn't make it, and they're going to the NIT this year. Or, they're in the play-in game in Dayton. And it's the same thing year after year after year. And when I say, hey, it's time for higher expectations, people say, you don't remember what it was like before Tad got here? Yeah, I do. I also remember the fact the only time they won the Pac-12, which doesn't even exist anymore, was 2012. They've never been to the second weekend or second week of the NCAA tournament. At some point, expectations rise.
They've risen, and Jokic is being crushed. Jokic is being crushed.
Nationally.
He is being crushed, and I've been very critical of him locally. Look, I'll continue to say he's not above reproach. There's criticisms to be had. He needs to be, I'm going to say needs to be, he can be, because I don't know if we're ever going to see it. But he can be a better leader. He can be more aggressive. He can be more engaged in terms of handling the responsibility of what it takes to be him. Sometimes it feels like he doesn't want to walk in his own shoes and everything that's required. But that also doesn't mean simultaneously he's not the greatest player in franchise history by a country mile. He's still in his prime. This is a low moment. They need to retool things around him. We know that. And I just don't want to get on the slippery slope where all of a sudden it's like we're dismissing the greatest talent that's ever walked through the Denver Nuggets doors.
I'm not dismissing him, and I don't want to trade him. I'm just saying I wouldn't hang up on people if they called. And this is the hypothetical that won't actually happen, but if the Spurs called with Wemby, I'm making the deal. So I think people who say we'll take calls for everybody other than Jokic, that's not – I don't think that's necessarily true.
Well, through the lens of reality, right? Because if the Spurs called and you offered me Wemby and I'm the general manager, I'm getting in my car and doing a face-to-face to make sure we can do this transaction today.
Agreed. I'm buying all the plane tickets necessary to make that happen.
He's a boy, and he's already a man.
So, but I also am just not going to give him a free pass for what I think is the worst loss in playoff history in the history of this town.
That's fair. I'm not even going to die on that hill. Not going to do it.
You lost to a G League team in an elimination game with Game 7 looming on your home court. The other team doesn't have their best player, 3 of their 4 best players.
It was horrible. It was so embarrassing, and it still is.
And it wasn't even close. And we come up with other games that fall into that conversation. Broncos lose at home to the Jags in 97, but it was the 96 playoffs. Okay, they kicked an onside kick down 30-27 to try and pull it out at the end. All right, and it's also a sport where you're one and done. You have one bad day, you're out. Nuggets had 4 bad days in the span of about a week and a half.
And he had a bad series. It was the worst series we've ever seen him have.
And the thing that got this whole conversation going, and the thing that really just rubs me the wrong way, is that he seemingly does not want to be a leader to the point where Christian Brown considers himself the leader of this team, the vocal leader of this team. And I think Jokic gets a free pass on it because I saw him be the leader for Team Serbia. And I think that bothers me. Like, you're choosing to care about that and to be a leader there and not have the same care and same leadership characteristics here when one team's paying you $55 million a year to play, the other team's paying you $0. Right? I get national pride and all that thing.
Yeah, but I just in general, like, how has Jokic handled his end of the bargain with the Denver Nuggets? Pretty damn good. Well, James, I can help you. Pretty damn good. We've never seen a series like this from him ever.
How many all-time greats have we ever said, does he really care about basketball? Does he really care about football? Does he really care about hockey? Does he really care about baseball? Maybe baseball. I mean, you see those. We used to say that about Larry Walker. Larry Walker would just show up, and, man, that guy had the most God-given ability going, and he could just roll in and hit 300 and hit 40 jacks. But there was the conversation of, like, man, if that guy really dedicated himself to the sport, how good could he be? Maybe he'd stay healthier. Some of those conversations were happening back then.
Right.
The fact that we're asking, you're getting paid $55 million and you're out of shape a month before the playoffs? What are we doing?
And, well, hold on, context, too, coming off an injury where he missed a month and was not active. That was a part of it because he was skinny, and then he was big, and then he was skinny again. So, again, I'm not trying to make excuses for Jokic. I would caution because life without Jokic is going to be incredibly sobering. Incredibly.
That I agree with. And, again, I don't want to trade him. All I'm saying is he is your most valuable asset. And at some point, this organization has to make the decision, do we think we can win another title with Jokic? Because the worst thing...
What's your answer to that question? Do you think you can win another title with Nikola Jokic?
The way they run their operation, no. I don't.
So I'll...
Not if you're afraid of aprons and luxury taxes and things like that.
And we'll get to that here in a second, because there's some interesting audio that I want to get into. The way that I would answer that question, if you ask me the same question, can you win another championship with Jokic? The answer is yes, but it's not with Jamal Murray as the second best player. Jamal Murray, and people, like, it's going to hit people's ears the wrong way. Jamal Murray has played his last game for the Denver Nuggets.
Really?
Yes.
You think he's gone this offseason?
Yes. I know he is.
Well,
because it's going to come down to two things. It's going to come down to two things. Either Jamal Murray gets traded or you are doing a full-scale run it back, because you are not going to get anything for the likes of Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon without attaching picks to it. Here's the kicker. They don't have any picks to give. They don't own their first pick until 2032. Now, I want to be clear about this because people will misunderstand me. The NBA doesn't let you trade your first-round picks in back-to-back years because they've learned the lessons in the past where you had the Cleveland Cavs in the early 80s, ship out 5 first-round picks consecutively, and then the next thing you know, the Lakers win the championship, and they have the number 1 overall pick, and they're drafting James Worthy. They don't let that happen anymore. What I'm saying is the picks that they have to give, they're gone. Now you can wait till after the draft and do one of those deals like for Donovan Mitchell where you draft a guy on behalf of another organization and then you trade him. But, guys, you're not getting anything for Christian Brown. Nothing.
Agreed.
Nothing. You're not getting anything for Aaron Gordon.
Agreed.
Nothing. And there's no other asset that you're gonna make a meaningful. The only thing that you have to do this offseason from a true substance standpoint is move on from Jamal Murray. And they will. And they will. They need to.
I would tend to agree with
Quite
that.
frankly, he's a great Nugget. His jersey will hang forevermore from Ball Arena. But if you want another championship, you're going to have to do something that stings. And the only option that is going to make a meaningful difference year over year is the package that you will get for Jamal Murray.
And I also agree with you that the post-Jokic years are going to be Siberia. They're going to be bad.
Chickens come home to roost.
If you've got 3 titles, you played in 4 or 5 more NBA finals, and then you're bad for a decade, okay, I'll make that trade, right? Give me 4 years with Peyton Manning, and then we got to go through the quarterback carousel for 8 years. Sign me up. It was painful during those 8 years, and toward the end of the 8 years when we didn't know if there was ever a light at the end of the tunnel, and we didn't know if it was an 8-year tunnel or an 18-year tunnel, I was starting to waver on that decision. But now in hindsight, you got Bo. It's like, hey, take those 4 years. Arguably the greatest 4 years in Broncos history as a team, not as a quarterback. We don't have to get in that debate.
Yeah.
And trade that for 8 years, sign me up. But if you'd have gone through the Payton years, you didn't win a title. I don't know that I make the sell my soul, make the deal with the devil. So my point being, from here on out with Jokic, if you're not going to get to another NBA Finals, if you're not going to win a title, don't you have a little bit of a responsibility as the GM to see what can we parlay our best asset into?
That time may come. That time is not now. But what I'm thinking of when you were just talking about this, and no one's going to want to hear this the week after they got bounced in the first round. I don't want to hear myself say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank God they got one. Thank God they got one. Because I don't know if it's going to happen again. And right now with the information that I have, it's more unlikely than likely. Even with his top 20 status, I believe he's closer to top 15 than you do, but we can agree to disagree on that. Right now, with the information that I have and the evolving landscape in the Western Conference, it's unlikely that the Nuggets win another championship. And this is why, and this pains me to say, and I'm going to piss people off, but as Cecil Lammey would tell you, the truth isn't meant to make you feel good. Nikola Jokic signing the extension is the best thing for the Denver Nuggets. But through the lens of winning championships, it is not the best thing for Nikola Jokic.
Because it hamstrings the organization and what they can do?
No, I'm saying that this environment is not set up for winning big picture.
Oh, I got you. He can take the money here, but he'd be better off to go somewhere else.
Him signing the extension is what's best for the Denver Nuggets. But if the goal is to win as many championships as possible, that is not what's best for Nikola Jokic.
And
it pains me to say that.
I would agree with you. And look, again, and I'll say it for a third time, I don't want to trade Nikola Jokic. But in the NBA, it's complicated and how everything has to match up. But just to use a simple analogy, if you're the Dallas Cowboys when Jimmy Johnson first gets there, and you're like, we don't have enough talent, we don't have any draft picks, we just need volume, and our best player is Herschel Walker. How do we parlay him into 5 starters, 3 future Hall of Famers? If that type of move is offered to you, you're irresponsible if you don't take it.
Well, you're irresponsible if you don't listen.
Right, exactly. Okay, so you're at least answering the phone.
Yes, at a certain point in time. Not now, but at a certain point in time, I agree with you.
And it's different because this involved 3 guys, and they had to make a lot of moves, and they did have some down years, but the Oklahoma City Thunder came to the realization, we ain't winning a title with Durant, Westbrook, Harden. Not going to be able to keep them all, not going to be able to pay them all the dynamics that went into it, and they started unraveling that core and parlayed that into so many draft picks. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they have another lottery pick coming this year.
They traded for SGA. They didn't draft him. They brought him in from the Clippers.
Correct.
And all of a sudden rebuilt that thing where instead of, hey, we're going to fall victim to sentimentality here we're not going to trade any of these guys. I don't want to go down as the guy who traded Kevin Durant or Russell Westbrook or James Harden, and they end up walking and you get nothing. Then you're in purgatory for a lot longer period of time. Sometimes you have to make the hard decisions. You can't let Dikembe Mutombo walk out the door for nothing.
Yeah.
You're better off trading him and getting something.
It happened to Orlando in the early 90s with Shaquille O'Neal as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but you're not in that. You're not there right now. You're not there right now.
But again, you want to be too early, not too late. Because if you're too late, you don't get max value.
Trading him when he's 31, where his game is not predicated on athleticism, and you could forecast a prime that could be another 5 years. I don't think that time is right now. I really want to get to this here because, all right, so I listen to maybe 5 basketball podcasts, and one of my favorites, if not my favorite, is the Hoop Collective. I believe it is a combination of 3 guys that are among the 3 most informed people within the sport, and it's Tim McMahon, Brian Windhorst, and Tim Bontemps. For my money, I believe Tim Bontemps is the most saturated person right now covering the NBA from coast to coast. He is not a big personality. He's not meant for TV, but he is just he is just so entrenched every single team. I mean, you listen to him; it's his life's work. And this was the conversation that was happening this week. So we step out of our local market here, and we hear the tone that doesn't have sentiment tied into it, doesn't have any local favoritism tied to it. It's just a sober look at where the Nuggets are right now. This is a longer clip than we would normally play, so I want to it's about 2 minutes long, but this is the conversation, and even though I understand the dynamics, to hear someone else say, sometimes that can happen to you. You can understand something to be true, but it's said in a certain way by someone else. It could strike a chord within you that just hits differently. And that was the feeling that I got listening to these conversations this week as they reflected on where the Nuggets are at.
The reality is, going forward, this team does not have the ability to improve the roster. The Cam Johnson had a good game today. That trade was a disaster. Like, giving up a first-round pick to get worse with the situation they're in was very bad. Payton Watson is now a restricted free agent. We'll see what happens with him. He had a very good brief stretch of play and then has been hurt ever since. His market's going to be very interesting this summer to see what he gets paid. But we know Denver's not going super deep into the luxury taxes. So what are they going to do to try to keep the roster together? Christian Brown signed a big extension last summer, got hurt early in the year, but had a very disappointing season. McMahon, you brought up Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's an unbelievable player. His three-point shooting improvement has been remarkable. He is a winning player and a guy who's a huge difference maker. But at this point, you kind of have to put him in the, you hope he plays 50 games and is ready for the playoffs category. That's a very hard thing to try to plan for, to build around. And this team has no youth. Like, the whole Calvin Booth, all these young guys he drafted, they basically all, outside of Christian Brown, they've all flamed out.
And Watson.
Watson, but we'll see what Watson's future is too. They might have to get off of Cam Johnson to keep Payton Watson.
It'll be one. They're not keeping both. If Payton Watson's on the roster, I do firmly believe that Cam Johnson will be traded.
Cam Johnson won't be. And so you've got a team that already isn't good enough, that's going to sacrifice some depth to keep the team it has and doesn't have upside to improve going forward. Like that's a very sobering assessment of a roster that, it's just not good enough. And this is a reminder that even if you have Nikola Jokic in this new system, it is unforgiving if you make consistent mistakes. And Denver has made a lot of mistakes. And they've cut corners in spending for years. And despite having an owner that's got the ability to spend as much money as he wants. And that is coming home to roost now. And it's frankly hard to see right now how they get back to being a true contender going forward with Nikola Jokic, which is crazy when he's still one of the best players on the planet.
It almost, again, I know the dynamics. I follow this team as closely as anyone in this market. But to hear impartial voices that are not in this market and looking at the spreadsheet of where you are at as a franchise and combined with the understanding of what the ownership is not willing to do, those two things together, James, coupled together, the mistake after mistake, whether it's who you let go or who you decided to sign to a $125 million contract, coupled with the new era of this CBA, coupled with, the ownership group is not going to go all in here, despite it being Jokic's prime, it does paint a picture moving forward through a championship lens. They'll win a bunch of regular season games, but through a championship lens is rather bleak.
Yeah, no, that 2 minutes sounded very bleak. The part that rubs me the wrong way is the fact that one of them is very controllable, right? They can't change the NBA rules. They can't go back and undo trades they made and signings they made. You can learn from them, but you can't undo them. But the owner could spend money. He could. He could decide, hey, we have an all-time great player, which you and I have been debating for an hour where he's at on that list, but he's on the list somewhere. He's still in his prime. We could spend our way out of this problem to some extent, right? Like if you keep P. Watt, right, that's certainly going to help. If you change the coach, that's spending your way out of the problem to some extent. It's pretty bleak, but I also think, and listen, I'm as upset about what happened last week as anybody. I called it the worst playoff loss in the history of the city in any sport. But you and I talked yesterday, too, of, okay, if both teams are completely healthy, we both think the Nuggets win the series. We both think they have a chance to beat San Antonio here in the second round. I'd give them a puncher's chance against Oklahoma City. Well, blowing it up and getting less than market value for AG doesn't get you.
It's not going to help.
It's not going to help.
No.
It's not going to help. Your best bet is to hope, and he's right, Aaron Gordon, you just hope he plays 50 games a year. He's also had soft tissue injuries. It's not like he's coming off an ACL. That also seems like a correctable thing, right? Like, can we just spend more money on our training staff and how we're taking care of these guys and what we're doing? That seems like a solvable problem.
Yeah.
Peyton Watson seems like all right, just got to spend the money. I don't like run it back as much as the next guy, especially when you're coming off of that bad of a loss. But it's your best option at this point is to run it back with the roster. You have to change something.
Save for one player. No, save for one player. Jamal Murray. That's the one lever to pull. And if you were ever going to pull it when his stock is where it's at, it's right now.
Well, you could talk me into it depending on who they're getting. Because
we're going to talk about some scenarios tomorrow.
I had a lot of basketball people tell me how good the MPJ trade was. Doesn't look so good at this point.
All right, shifting gears here. We spent a lot of time on that. I'm glad that we did. We will ultimately at some point circle back. But ESPN graded every Major League Baseball season now that the first month of the season is in the books. What grade did the Rockies get? Also, breaking news on the college football front that will change things fundamentally. That's next.
Game 1 wasn't hockey, it was chaos on ice. A 9-6 shootout where defense evaporated, goaltending cracked, and the Avalanche and Wild traded haymakers like it was October, not May. Incredible! Now comes Game 2, and the question is simple. Does it settle down, or does this series stay unhinged? Colorado wants control, Minnesota wants revenge, and after a night where anyone could score from anywhere, nothing feels predictable. Avalanche, Wild. Game 2, tonight. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Done right kitchens, baths, counters and floors, finished basements, windows and doors. Our 8% scheduling incentive and bank financing to ask about make a great time to call 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great. I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsburg.com.
If you're feeling exhausted with no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. Book a free testosterone test at Low T Center and see if you qualify for TRT, customized to you. Choose self-pay or insurance and even have your treatment shipped to your door. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
How about 60 seconds that'll make you actually feel good for a change? Hey, Dan Jacobs with 303 Law 4040. You've heard me talk about the best free meal in Denver. And I had some listeners that had heard me talk about how I used to love to make brisket, but with outrageous beef prices, we just couldn't afford to do it anymore. We can't afford to feed that many people. Well, a guy, Barbecue Bob, showed up to one of our first and third Thursdays with a couple $1,000s of brisket so he could just help people. We're going to make free brisket here coming up in the next couple months for our best free meal in Denver. And then another guy, Fred, who runs the Ace Hardwares over on Gartrell Road and Arapahoe Crossing. He said, from now on, all your fuel you need for that barbecue is on me. And another guy, Bobby Hancock from IHOP. He fed our volunteers and gave thousands of dollars worth of gift certificates to our people that take advantage of the best free meal in Denver. If you want to help, you can. Just spread the word. It's the best free meal in Denver every first and third Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. It's at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road. And if you have any questions, just call us at 303-LAW-4040.
Hey, it's Mike Evans, and if you missed the filing deadline again, or maybe you haven't filed in a while, the consequences can be substantial, and the penalties, huge. After 5 months, you'll owe late filing penalties of 25%, not to mention interest. The recent IRS tactics include prosecuting more non-filers, sometimes even criminally. Don't gamble with the IRS, it's just not worth it. You can avoid the stress and worry of not filing your taxes simply by calling the people I trust, and that's Advanced Tax Solutions. I've personally talked with clients who've been helped by Todd Whalen. They can get your taxes filed and provide a number of solutions to get you off the IRS's radar. You will feel relief and peace of mind as soon as you talk with the experts. So call the professionals I trust at Advanced Tax Solutions. 303-753-6040 or visit advancedtaxsolutions.com.
While medicine's greatest advancements look like the latest sci-fi, one of our most powerful tools is far more simple, more human. It's a calling to connect with purpose by treating people, not just patients. With innovations that amplify healing and lead to more personalized care, guided by the belief we all hold the power to heal. At Common Spirit Health, clinical excellence lives here. Human kindness lives here. Learn more at mountain.commonspirit.org.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I heard from a couple in Aurora recently, Tom and Denise. They're empty nesters who thought they were finally hitting their stride, but then life happened. They needed car repairs, groceries kept climbing, and suddenly they were putting everyday expenses on credit cards just to stay afloat. Tom told me, I feel like we're working harder than ever and getting nowhere. That's when I told them about American Financing. They're helping people just like Tom and Denise every day. They look at your whole financial picture, not just credit card balances that keep growing. With a refinance, you may delay 2 mortgage payments, and you may close in as fast as 10 days. And when they heard the average customer is saving $800 a month, they finally felt like they could breathe again. One manageable payment, a chance to stop financing their past and start funding their future. American Financing, family owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants. There's no upfront fees and there's no obligation. So call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000 or visit them online at americanfinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
You can't always predict what's next, but you can be ready for it in a BMW SUV. The performance-driven X1 comes built for every journey, while the X3's sporty design and innovative technology keep your drive connected. The X5 blends performance with a commanding presence, or make it even bigger with 3 rows of luxurious seating in the X7. For every road, there's an X built to drive it. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Gebhardt BMW, your trusted family dealer since 1975.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan, powered by the Colorado Lottery. Play on.
Want to partake in our contests? Check out the rules at DenverSports.com. Every day at 3:30, the drive comes off the top rope to hit you with a 1, 2, 3.
Finally!
The Rock has come back to Denver!
Tape your wrists, stretch your spandex, and oil your hair. Here's Zach and Phil with today's 3 Count on The Drive.
Let's come off the top rope with it! All righty. So, ESPN, curious what you think about this. They graded every Major League Baseball season so far, now that more than a month of the season is in the books. This was Jeff Passan of the 4-letter network there in Bristol. Dante's buddy, his texting buddy, first name basis. He says, we're factoring in preseason expectations, win-loss records, and underlying stats for each club. The Rockies got a B. The Rockies got a B from Jeff Passan of ESPN, who's a bit of, obviously, a seamhead, historian. What do you make of the Rockies getting a B?
Well, I mean, boy, that just tells you how low the expectations were, right? I mean, they're a last-place team getting a B. But last year they were historically bad, at least for the majority of the year.
Yeah, arguably the worst team in modern history.
Yeah, so, I mean, we were comparing them to the Cleveland Spiders all year long, team that none of us had ever heard of prior to last season. So, okay, they're a big upgrade from there. We had them on yesterday when we were doing the show. It was entertaining, right? They're up there, kind of cared what was happening, and they fell down 4-0, got a couple runs, rallied back. We didn't care at all last year. They're 14-22, which isn't very good. So it's like, oh, but still, it's better than they were.
We wouldn't even have them on the TV a year ago.
No, there was no reason to. But it's also a team that's lost 5 straight games, and we still feel kind of good about them.
Yeah. Right. Well, it just goes to show you, to your point, just how bad it was a year ago. That, like, when this team was winning their 14th game, they weren't going to 14-17. They were going to 14-47.
Yeah, so it's light years better. I do like the changes they made in the front office. They finally brought in somebody from outside the organization.
Way outside.
Di Podesta seems to have a plan, which is nice. I don't think they had a plan before.
Agreed.
I think they have a manager that actually cares now and just doesn't throw up his arms and say, well, we can't win anyway, so what does it matter? Bud Black maybe was a good manager at one point. He wasn't in the last 3 years. So I think that's a good thing. And then the biggest thing for me has been, if you're going to lose with guys when you go to the game and you look up at the scoreboard that shows their birth date, that the year's in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't go out there and lose and be bad with guys that are in their 30s. Have it be guys that are in their early 20s. They've got some good young players. They got a couple more that should come up soon. And you start looking down the road. It's like, okay, you got Holiday. You got some of these guys. There's a reason to be semi-optimistic.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. So I would give them a B. I mean, we went from not caring at all other than to laugh at them to, okay,
pay
I'll tune
attention.
in. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll
pay
tune
attention.
in.
Yeah.
They're not where we want them to be, but it's got to go in stages. To me, it's don't lose 100 games this year. Flirt with 500 next year. Flirt with a wild card in 2028. That needs to be the trajectory.
I think that's fair. The analogy that I made before first pitch of this season, turning around a Major League Baseball franchise specifically, where it's not the NFL, it's a Carnival cruise ship doing a 180. It's not a speedboat. It's going to take time, but initial trajectory says, okay, it's better. Good place to start here as we're, a month and call it 5 weeks into season number 1 after all this change. Next in the 3 Count.
1, 2.
All right. By the way, real quick, let me just say this, that the game tonight that was scheduled for 6:40, Rockies-Mets, has been postponed. It's going to be tonight's game is going to be rescheduled for Thursday at 1:10 in the afternoon. Additionally, tomorrow's first pitch, which was scheduled for 1:10 p.m., has been moved all the way back to 7:20. So no doubleheader, but it looks like, from what I can tell, the Mets travel day has been taken away. They're going to play during the day on Thursday, and tomorrow's day game that was supposed to wrap up this series has been moved to tomorrow evening.
Okay, so they're betting on the weather forecasters being right. That it's going to be bad tonight, which it's raining out. Looks like that's going to be the case. But then this is going to clear out in time for them to play tomorrow night.
I'm just telling you what they said the schedule now is.
It's like, hey, we're going to cancel school before a single flake of snow has fallen. We're canceling flights because it's supposed to rain in 2 days. Can we just wait and watch it happen? Can we wait until it happens?
Well, we're supposed to get, overnight here. It's going to get pretty gnarly, I think, around here. So
that's what they say.
That's what they say.
We'll see.
All right. Hey, could be potential major news coming out of college football. Ross Dellinger from Yahoo putting it out there that the coaches have spoken. In a vote last week, the coaches board swung its support behind a couple things. One, a playoff with the max participants likely to be 24 teams in the new college football playoff. Also, conference championship games, goodbye. That is a major, it could be. The coaches are behind it. That's a huge first step. And then the college football playoff ending by the second week of January.
There's a lot of things in there that I like.
Me too.
Right? They wait way too long to get the playoffs started. Part of that's because of the conference championships game, which are unnecessary now that the playoffs have been extended. They're essentially meaningless games. So getting rid of those makes sense. Not waiting a couple of weeks till you start the playoff. Then not having to wait a couple of weeks and play on weird nights because you don't want to deal with the NFL playoffs, which are now in Wild Card Weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So
right.
College has to play on a Tuesday. It just gets very weird. So it's a good step. They're heading in the right direction. I do think 24 teams in the playoff is too many.
It's a lot.
16 should be the number in the NFL and in college football. I just wish there was like a czar of college football or of college sports that could come in and say,
Joel Klatt,
we're going to have 48 teams.
Yeah.
If you're in the bottom 4, you get relegated. If you're in the top 4 of the B League, you get to come up. How much fun would that be?
Do you talk about a subplot? The entire sport would have its own subplot.
It would be, every game would be important at that point. That's what they should do. They probably look at it and say, well, if I'm Vanderbilt, I don't want to give up my SEC money. But if I'm Alabama, why am I continuing to give you money? You're bringing nothing to this table. Maybe a bad example because Vandy had a decent year, but over the course of the last 3 decades, they brought nothing to the table. That's what they should do. Maybe we'll get there someday. This is at least a step in the right direction.
All right, shifting gears, we're going to kick out of the last lap of the mat on the 3 count here. We are just hours away from a massive Game 2 for the Colorado Avalanche. Let's talk about some of the moving parts and dynamics at play tonight. We'll also hear from Jared Bednar all next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters. Injury Insights, powered by Ramos Law. Taking a look at the latest sports injuries in Colorado and beyond. Here's Dr. Joseph Ramos with Zach By.
All right, Dr. Ramos, we got news in the middle of last week that Bo Nix is having a cleanup job on his ankle. By our count, 5 times going into the ankle in some way, shape, or form. When you hear cleanup, what do you think?
Good morning, Zach. Yeah, cleanup makes me not worry at all as a physician. Essentially a shaving off of an area.
And shaving off of an area, why would you need to do that?
So in Bo's position, I can tell you exactly what this is. In the ankle joint where he's having this cleanup, there's articular cartilage there. The cartilage is this soft little cushion between 2 bones where they come together, and it allows the ankle to slide, or any joint to slide smoothly in on itself. Because of that cartilage there in his past injuries, he likely has some fraying of that cartilage. And you go in there, you do this through an arthroscope, and you're just going to just shave it, clean it up, get that out of there. It's very simple. The surgery is fast. It's in and out. It's usually done through a little port through a straw. So I'm not discouraged at all, and think it'll probably feel a lot better.
And you anticipate he's going to be just fine to be back for training camp, right?
Absolutely. It's not serious at all. He'll be back. He'll be in and out that same day, standing on his feet again the same day as his cleanup surgery. Back for training camp at 100%. There are some athletes that actually get this done in season, and they play the same week.
Ramos Law. What makes us different makes us better.
Get a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks so you can make smarter decisions faster. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Over his Hall of Fame career, Terrell Davis racked up impressive numbers. 65 touchdowns, 2 championships, almost 8,000 rushing.
That's why I bank at Colorado Credit Union.
That's a weird segue.
Colorado Credit Union treats me like a person, not a number.
With personal service, great rates, and smart financial advice.
And those are just 3 great perks.
We can stop with the numbers now.
You don't have to be a legend to bank like one at Colorado Credit Union. Visit ccu.org. Terms and restrictions apply. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Brandon Stokely here from my friends at Roller Auction. Do you have items you're looking to sell? Since 1976, Roller Auction has been conducting commercial and industrial auctions for Colorado government agencies, Fortune 500 companies, small business owners, secured creditors, individuals, and more. They have a large marketplace to showcase your assets, so don't wait. Visit rollerauction.com for a free consultation and turn those items into some cold, hard cash. Again, go visit them at rollerauction.com. That's rollerauction.com.
I started my first business when I was 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you and customers care that you show up and do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts and spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. Call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
The right financial strategies can make a huge difference, especially if you're nearing retirement. Adam Mueller talks retirement strategies with Mile High Money. Saturday mornings at 8 on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports 104.3.
As we roll along here on a Tuesday, just a few hours, I actually call it a couple hours, ahead of Game 2 of the second round, Avs and Wild. Game 1 was exactly that, Wild. It's a memory that I'll have for a very long time, being in the barn for that. I will be watching it from the comfy confines of my couch in full sweats. Maybe flick the fireplace on with the snow coming down.
Yeah, that sounds kind of nice, right?
Heck yeah.
A little snowy night, turn on some playoff hockey, get comfy.
I can think of worse things.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
I'm fired up about this tonight for all the reasons that we understand. It's another chapter in a journey to 16 wins. 5 are in the front pocket. The single biggest key to victory tonight is what? James Marilat filling in for Phillip today.
Well, I think they have to be better defensively. Right, like Wedgwood, I don't think was great. He obviously gave up 6 goals, but he wasn't awful. He had a couple that he probably should have stopped, but for the most part, it was also he didn't get a lot of help in front of him. I think that they were, the fact that you had 5 defensemen in the game overall score goals for both teams combined. It was a game where everybody was, pushing forward, right, trying to having an offensive mindset. The Avs included. And then you end up getting yourself in some bad spots. You're on a power play, and you give a 2-on-0 break going the other way.
Yeah.
That's because nobody remembered, I'd still have to play defensively when I'm out here. I think they have to be better defensively. I think you can't let Minnesota get that many attempts on Wedgwood, and if you give up a 6th spot, you're going to lose. We talked about the stat yesterday. 150 games in franchise history where they've given up 6 or more. They're 3-147. So I don't think I'm going out on a limb when I say if you give up 6 again tonight, you're going to lose. So to me, that's it. You got to be better defensively. You can't lose track of guys. You can't put Wedgwood in that many bad spots. For me, that's the key. If they give up a couple of goals tonight, they're going to win.
Yep, I agree. Defensively has got to be first and foremost. It just has to be better, and they know that. They're not, they're not naive to think that they're going to, be winning 6-5, 9-6. Like, that's not how this is going to go. I went back and looked, though. I went back and looked to every game of the entire season. What happens after the Avs give up 4 goals or more? Okay, because you can give up 3, but you start giving up 4, your chances of winning just they plummet, right? And we just understand this. So it happened 20 times where the Avs have given
20?
up 4 goals or more.
That's a quarter of the games. That's a lot. I know one thing that typically happened is Blackwood got benched.
Yeah, well, this is how they responded in the games after. So again, this is the game after giving up 4 goals.
Okay.
1 goal, 3 goals, 4, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 7, 2, 7, 1, 2, 1, 2. And it's noteworthy that the 2-7 spots were in the portion of the season where the Avs were scuffling and Gabe Landeskog was not around.
Okay.
But even taking that into account, all right, the math says the game after the Avs give up 4 goals or more, they give up 2.3 goals on average.
Yeah, when you're just reading through them, there were a lot of 1s and 2s. And then the other thing that jumped out is the 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
Right? The 2 7s. If you take those out.
And they're in the same week.
Yeah, if you take those out, they were going to be really close to, maybe even under 2 goals a game coming off of a game in which they gave up that many. So that's what I would expect tonight. I'm right there with you when you say, hey, it's going to be a low-scoring game. You referenced the Nashville series, 4 years ago when they put up 7 in the first game and then had to win 2-1 in overtime in game 2.
Yep.
It's just because both teams are going to go back and look at it, see what the other team did, for one thing, and then the other part of it is going to see what they didn't do, and you just come out, you're a little more focused, it's a little more attention to detail, you're a little more, you have a little more intensity of like, okay, we can't do that again, guys, and that tends to take away and clean up some of those lapses that lead to those goals. So yeah, I expect them to be in the majority of what you read. I will be shocked if it's a 7. I don't think they're playing the way they were at that time. It's going to be a couple. They're gonna give up a couple.
I think
goals
it'll be
tonight,
1 or 2,
and I think they win 3-2, 4-2. That would be my expectation. That would have been my expectation before you read off that list. After hearing it, I don't know if it's the mean, the median, the mode. I don't remember, but like the number that comes up the most in a group.
A mean is the average.
So it's not the mean. It's the mode.
The median is if you line them all the numbers up, it's the one in the middle.
Okay.
And then I think the mode is the highest one minus the lowest one.
I thought it was the most frequent. Like what comes up the most in a group?
Is it?
Whatever it is.
You guys behind the glass.
Whatever it is.
The mean, median, and mode. Well, we'll put a pin in that. We'll get back
Whatever.
to it.
The mode. Let's just go with that. The mode, to me, I think is 1. I felt like you read more 1s than anything else.
Oh, is that the most frequent? Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I think
you're right.
That's
I think you're right.
I think. Now, keep in mind, I took this 40 years ago, so I have no idea.
Dante, you flunked math at Arizona State. Do you remember the median is the average? No, the mean is the average. The median is all the numbers stacked up, and it's the middle number. And then the mode is, what's the mode?
It's the most frequent. James got it.
It's the most frequent.
Also,
okay.
I didn't flunk math at ASU. I didn't have to take math because I was so good at it earlier.
And you still didn't graduate.
Well, that's a different conversation.
So, because the mode was 1, I think that's the kind of game we're going to get out of the Avs tonight. I think they're going to come out and be much, much better defensively. I don't know if they're going to hold them a 1. That's tough to do against a really good team like the Wild, but it's going to be a goal or 2. I think they're going to be significantly better in that phase.
Cale Makar did not skate at optional skate yesterday. Did not skate today. Now, I'm still expecting to see him, but I think that's worth mentioning given that he got knocked out of the game in game number 1, missed most of that first period. Now he came back and scored 2 goals. But that's just something to monitor.
Yeah, and you see that, though, where you got the adrenaline going, you're playing, you're warm, and then you cool down after the game, you wake up the next morning, and it feels a lot worse than it did the night before, even though it was right after it happened.
Yeah.
So I expect him to play tonight as well. I wouldn't call it alarming that he didn't skate yesterday or today, but I also wouldn't say it's a nothing burger.
Well, he left a playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, if he was completely healthy, I think at some point in the last couple of days he would have been on the ice. And it's, if you're Jared Bednar and company, you're just saying, hey, we're going to save it for the game. That's what matters. And, it's one of those things, too, of you don't want to have to get him warmed up and ready to go and be out there multiple times.
Right.
You're saving it for when it matters, when the lights are on and the TV cameras are fired up.
Sure.
And the scoreboard's working. So I get it. Again, I'm not alarmed, but you're right. It's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, just to keep an eye on. We don't know for sure who's going to start in goal tonight. We think it's going to be Wedgwood again because of how the sort of order of operations of a morning skate can go, but we're not 100% sure on that. Will Peterson will be live from Ball Arena. We'll talk with him at about, call it 5:15 and see if we can get an update on these things. In the meantime, though, I want to hear from Jared Bednar on his decision with Scott Wedgwood and Mackenzie Blackwood. Will we see Josh Manson make his 2026 postseason debut tonight? We'll hear from the head coach next.
The Nuggets need a fresh spark. So why bring back David Edelman? After another postseason full of issues, confusing rotations, and tough questions, Denver doubles down on its original mistake. Is this loyalty or lack of imagination? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-771-1300. That's 800-771-1300.
T-Mobile has an exclusive bundle for customers 55 and up.
I'm Sarah Bowl.
Yeah, I'm Frank Bowl.
A reliable network is key for us. And with T-Mobile, it's been wonderful. And going to the 55 plus plan saved us so much money.
A lot.
And that's important. Trying to keep costs down. The home internet's been perfect. It's fast, it's quick. The setup was so easy, it took less than 15 minutes.
It was like, ta-da! If you want simplicity, coverage, reliability, you want the whole package, T-Mobile has it. Right now, T-Mobile customers 55 and up can get 2 phone lines on America's best network, plus America's fastest 5G home internet for just $30 each.
$30 per month each line with autopay plus taxes and fees. Minimum age 55. Pricing for home internet rely on 2 lines of Essentials Choice 55. $35 connection charge per line required. Best mobile network and fastest 5G home internet based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 2H 2025. All rights reserved.
I'm Drew Carney, anchor with 9 News. I love the Denver sports scene and living just 20 minutes from Red Rocks. I'm here to get you ready for the day ahead with the latest headlines. Covering breaking news that affects you and your family. Getting you the information you need right when you need it. Across the Denver Metro, we've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to Colorado's #1 streaming newscast. 9 News Mornings, weekdays starting at 4:30.
At some point, you stop calling it pain and start calling it just how I am now. And that's not okay. And deep down, you know it. I'd love to lead you back to the normal you, the one who is active and carefree. So let's get started now with an introduction to the medical team at QC Kinetics and their long-lasting regenerative treatments for joint pain. They're helping patients with pain from arthritis or injury in their knees, shoulder, hips, and lower back. And now they're moving, sleeping, golfing, running without surgery or long recoveries. The science is real. The treatments are natural. Your body already knows how to heal. QC Kinetics finally gives it the right tools. No operating room, no hardware, no watching summer come and go from a recliner. And now's the time, because the longer inflammation sits, the more damage it does. So this isn't a I'll get around to it situation. Right now is the right time, and the first step doesn't cost you a thing. QC Kinetics, better starts here. Schedule your free consultation by calling 303-900-8986. 303-900-8986 with locations in Aurora, Superior, Highlands Ranch, and the Springs. It is QC Kinetics.
I'm Neil, founder of Clay Room. When I found ceramics, I realized my calling was to give others the space to be creative. So I set out to open my own studio. Having a Chase Ink card has allowed us to grow it and bring people together. Now we're molding a creative community.
With the Chase Ink Business Cash Card, you can earn up to 5% cash back on business essentials, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Real business owner compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Spring dust, pollen, and debris clog Denver's ACs. Fix It 24/7 Spring AC Deep Clean removes buildup. First-time customers pay $39. Look now at fixmyhome.com before summer heat hits.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver. Powered by Regen RX. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay.
In Denver on the YouTube chat, presented by Sean Ponda, said it's going to be tight. The Wild are going to come with the most desperate and best effort. I agree, Mel in Denver. I agree. I do think we're going to see a very tight game. I think that overtime is very much on the table. We are still waiting to hear about Josh Manson. We are waiting to hear officially about who will start in goal. And not to be an alarmist, but we are still waiting to see if Cale Makar is officially going to play after missing an optional skate yesterday and then again today. And I do wonder, the way that, adrenaline works, like you get blasted, his legs are in the air. I mean, his right skate was as high as the dude's head. But you have that adrenaline. You go back out and play, and then you go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then you get up. And things could get stiff, and especially if it's like, because do we know what it was with just lower body? Did they say lower body for Cale? So, okay, so we don't know for sure, but is it a hip? Is it a groin? The way that his feet separated in the air? I mean, we just don't know.
Yeah, and when you wake up the next morning, you always feel worse. Right? Like, you get to be our age, or especially my age, you go play pickup basketball, you're fine that night, and you wake up the next morning, it's like, oh my gosh, I can barely get out of bed.
Yeah.
You get to be my age, it's from bowling. But, even when you're a professional athlete, when you have an injury like that, yeah, you're playing with the adrenaline. Unless you tore something up, you're going to play through it. You'll be fine. You go to sleep. It's immobile for the most part for 8 hours. You're going to wake up, and you're going to be stiff, and you're going to be sore. I think that's one of those things. He'll get himself warmed up, ready to go, and will be out there tonight.
Yeah, I trust.
And that's why you skip the skates. You don't need to do that multiple times, and you certainly don't want to go out there if you're not completely ready to go and injure yourself in a meaningless skate on a Tuesday morning. That would be silly. But we'll see. It is something to keep an eye on. And then how effective is he? I think he'll be out there. But how effective is he? You mentioned that this will be a desperate, and Mel on the YouTube channel mentioned it'll be a desperate Wild team. I agree with that. I think one of the keys is the Avs can't match the desperation because they're not desperate, but you still have to match their intensity. And we just saw this different sport, but same thing. Game 2, Minnesota's down 19, to the Nuggets, about to fall down 2-0 in that series. Are you going to win 4 times in 5 games? Maybe, against that Nuggets team in hindsight, but you're desperate if you're on that Minnesota bench in Game 2.
Yeah.
The Nuggets didn't match it. Fast forward to Game 6. If you're Minnesota and you know you're out, you're down all these players, you're desperate to win in front of your home crowd because that's your chance to win the series. In the back of your mind, you got to know you're not going to Denver without Ant and winning Game 7 at Ball Arena. The Nuggets couldn't match the desperation.
Right.
What do the Avs do on that front tonight? You can't manufacture desperate.
Nope.
You can't. It's kind of like you can't manufacture starving.
Yeah, I would say through the years, there's only one form of being starving. That's
Right.
to actually be starving.
Right. And so, but you have to find a way to get close to their intensity.
Yeah.
And if the Avs can do that tonight, win Game 2, you're right, it's not wrapped up. But, man, your odds of winning this series go through the roof.
I would imagine taking a two-game lead in a 7-game series in the NHL playoffs, probably, 80%, likelihood you go on to win. Now, we've seen the Avs be, if it is 80, I'm making the number up. Is it 79? Is it 84? Whatever. But we have seen, the Avs blow that spot as well. In the year before they won the Stanley Cup, they sweep St. Louis in the first round. They were so dominant. Then they go in game number 1, they dominate Vegas, and then they win game 2 as well, and you're 6-0 to start the playoffs. It's actually the franchise record for most consecutive wins to start a postseason, and then they lost 4 straight. So it doesn't promise anything, but golly, man, you are in the driver's seat personified if you find a way to put them in a vice grip. That's what that would be. It wouldn't be an execution. It would be putting them, in a vice grip.
Well, and it would give Minnesota essentially zero margin for error at that point, and at least gives the Avs a little bit. Not that you want to have any margin for error. There's a couple other things, though, that I think are different than 4 years ago. It's a vastly better Avs team than they were then. I know a lot of the key pieces are the same. Bednar's still behind the bench. It's still McKinnon. It's still Makar. But top to bottom, it's a better team. They have a better goaltender. I would take Wedgwood over Grubauer.
Oh, yeah.
Any day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe Minnesota turns into it. Maybe. But that was a Kings team that was like, they were better than what Minnesota is now, like a championship medal kind of thing.
The Knights?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
you said Kings.
I'm sorry, I meant Vegas.
Yep.
They felt like that kind of team. You had a better opponent. Now maybe Minnesota turns into that. Maybe Minnesota wins this series, and everybody tells me whoever wins it's going to go on and win the cup. But they're not in that realm yet. So it's just a different team to put away. When you're playing against somebody that's got, again, championship medal, tougher to put them away even if you're up at 2-0. I don't think Minnesota's quite there yet.
Yeah, the history says 88% of the time. A team goes up 2-0. Now the Avs were part of that 12%.
Yeah.
So again, but that was a half decade ago. That was then, this is now. I think the maturity of this group, the veteran nature of this group, the accumulation of those scars in those instances, could pay dividends on a night like tonight. So what an opportunity. But I think it's going to be a lower scoring, more of a grind of a game. I know yesterday I referenced that first round series against Nashville in the year that they won the Cup. It's 7-2 in game number 1. Man, it was 2-1 in overtime in game number 2. So I do believe it's going to resemble more of that sort of overcorrection that we talked a bit about yesterday. By the way, quick trivia. Who scored the game-winning goal, putting everyone on the spot, so no pressure. But in that first-round series against Nashville, they dominate game number 1. They go to overtime game number 2. Who scored the game-winning goal to give the Avs a 2-0 series lead? Anyone?
I got a guess.
Yeah?
Mikko Rantanen.
Mikko. Okay, that's one guess.
Josh Manson.
Drew?
I'm going to go with Arturi Lehkonen.
It wasn't any of those guys. It was Cale Makar.
Okay.
It was Cale Makar.
There you go.
8 or 9 minutes into overtime, I remember because I was there. And for whatever reason, I remember this. It was Grubauer's birthday. He was turning like 31, 32, 33, something like that in his early 30s. And it was one of those it was just Cale coming through. Ultimately, the Conn Smythe winner. By the way, Cale Makar, 9-1 to win the Conn Smythe. I went and backed that yesterday morning, just a couple bucks, 9-1 at the level of play that I'm watching Cale Makar play to start the postseason is like, okay, yeah, give me that.
Who's the favorite? McKinnon?
McKinnon.
Okay.
Who's got, I think, 3 goals in the postseason, but 2 of them are empty netters, I want to say.
Yeah, and it's also, hey, when you're scoring game winners in overtime, it's not just about the total number, it's when you score them,
right?
What the moments are.
Right.
So that was one of those where it's Cale Makar having a clutch moment. So 9-1, that's some
9-1 for a guy who's done it before and is already off to a great
And the team that more than likely is going to win it, right? So
correct.
It's the odds are it's going to be an Avs player that wins that award.
Right.
It's a 2-person conversation, isn't it?
Well, we'll see. It's early.
They're a third of the way there almost.
It's early. We're 1 game into the second round. There's a lot of hockey left to be played. So if someone like, Val heats up, or say Brock Nelson heats up, more than likely, yes, you're right, 2-horse race, but we'll see. It's still early.
Brock Nelson?
Yeah.
What are the odds for Brock Nelson?
Value. A lot of value there.
I would guess so.
Here's Jared Bednar earlier today when asked about Wedgwood and Scott Manson.
Is Josh Manson playing, and is Scott Wedgwood starting?
I'm not going to answer either one of those. No personnel questions.
How about what's going on in goal tonight?
Yes, I do. Like I said this at the start. Like I can't just go off like conventional thinking of like it's just one goalie. Like that's for me. It's not the way our team operated all year, and we had a lot of success. So I feel comfortable going with either guy. I'll have reasons why I go to one guy and why I would go to the next guy based on my conversations with them and how we're playing and how they're playing and when rest is needed. But I do feel comfortable that we could go to Blackwood at any point and he would be good for us.
All right, we'll see if they do. You have a puzzled look on your face, James.
Based on my conversations with him, that's a factor in who's going to be in net when you're a Stanley Cup favorite. Like, again, it just feels odd to me. Jared Bednar seems like he's just being obstinate to be obstinate. I am not going to answer that question. Why?
I just think he's leaving himself room to make a decision. I think speaking in absolutes at this stage in the game, who wins other than the media?
I think the guys in that room, they know who's going to be there.
But what if at some point you need Blackwood? And you've said into a microphone, he's not our guy. Wedgwood's our guy.
Wedgwood's our guy, barring injury. And then if you need Blackwood because
but you don't need to say
hurt,
that. You don't need to say that. There's
why? Now you got Wedgie worried about. Well, if I answer
Wedgie's
Jared,
not worried about
if
a
I
thing.
answer Bedsy's question,
don't worry about
I'm
Wedgie.
going to get benched.
Don't worry about Wedgie. Wedgie's fine.
If we have a bad conversation on the way to the water cooler, I might be sitting on the sitting next to him.
James,
like what's going on here?
James, just
all right. That's an odd thing to factor into it. Like how he plays.
I think he's just talking.
If he needs rest, maybe, but like you're not playing back-to-back games.
How about you're putting a microscope over one sentence? It's more goes into it than a conversation. So James, they're 5-0 in the playoffs. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt here heading into tonight.
Okay, I think it's an odd situation. Hopefully tonight Wedgie plays really well. They go to 6-0 in the postseason. And it's not even a question heading into Game 3, but it shouldn't be a question either way. That's my issue with this whole situation.
All right. We'll leave that where it lies. Hey, interesting comments from the leader of the Denver Nuggets. Not who you think it is. That's next.
Game 1 wasn't hockey, it was chaos on ice. A 9-6 shootout where defense evaporated, goaltending cracked, and the Avalanche and Wild traded haymakers like it was October, not May. Incredible! Now comes Game 2, and the question is simple. Does it settle down, or does this series stay unhinged? Colorado wants control, Minnesota wants revenge, and after a night where anyone could score from anywhere, nothing feels predictable. Avalanche, Wild. Game 2, tonight. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
What's going on, everybody? Phillip Lindsay here. And guys, I know there's at least 50 of you listening to me right now thinking about popping that question this year to your special somebody. And if you're ready for all that, then you know you need a diamond. But let me add more to this. Mother's Day is around the corner. And whether it's your wife, your mom, or a mom who deserves something unforgettable, this is the moment to make her feel truly special. Let me save you some time and money by telling you something as simple as this. Whether you're starting your next chapter with your perfect diamond engagement ring or looking for a great Mother's Day gift, this is where it's going to begin for you. Imagine the finest jewelry legends all in one store together, making you feel just like family, and their surface is going to reflect that. So come shop the finest loose diamonds in Denver. They're going to have every size, shape, and price range you can imagine in the largest selection of engagement ring settings I've ever set eyes on. And not only are they going to share the secret to the business with you, but guys, they're going to give you the best price in Colorado, guaranteed. So why wouldn't you want to create moments and memories for yourself and the ones you love by going to Williams Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche, Denver's first family of fine jewelers, located in Cherry Creek North on 3rd Avenue and also in Inglewood at Broadway and Bellevue. And don't forget to let them know that Phillip Lindsay sent you.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach By here for 5280 Exteriors, your siding, windows, decking, and roofing specialist. During the month of May, 5280 Exteriors are offering you $1,000 off a new project. They also offer finance plans that come with no payments for 2 years. 5280 Exteriors is a locally owned company that has been in business for 20 years and knows the Colorado climate. They are a 2024 and 2025 James Hardy President's Club winner. 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
I'm Rob Wilhite. If you've been in a car accident, you need experience that wins. For almost 50 years in Colorado, my firm has recovered over $1 billion for crash victims. Call 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com. That's WilhiteWins.com.
For many of us, it's happened before. Your hair is thinning, crowns disappearing. Maybe the hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. The solution that worked for me, it's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day. And it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what if you want your own natural hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to world-class Dr. Tanya Paul's, it's not maybe your hair will regrow, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's why Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver. For your free consultation, $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
This is Terry Wickstrom. Are you looking to buy a home that fits your senior needs? Consider a home equity conversion mortgage for purchase. With this innovative financing option, you can use the equity in your current home or savings as the down payment. With the FHA-insured Heckham Reverse Mortgage Loan, you may be able to buy a higher value home and keep substantial cash for savings with no required payments. For more information, call Mike Rabin at 303-396-2804 or go to madrivermortgage.com and MLS 1504779.
Blake Shelton returns to Cheyenne Frontier Days with special guest Avery Anna. July 23rd, Cheyenne Frontier Days. CFDrodeo.com.
You're hearing this right now. So are your customers. That's radio. It still works. But your customers don't live in one place anymore. Tonight they're streaming Denver's biggest game on their TV. Tomorrow they're deep in the most popular podcast in the country. Next week, all three, all over again. We build one campaign that reaches them everywhere. Radio, streaming TV, podcasts, all under one roof, all measured, all working together. That's not a pitch, that's a system. DenverSports.com. Let's build yours.
Cecil Lammy here for my friends at SodaDietNutrition.com. Now, 5 years ago, I lost 60 pounds because of soda, and I'm never going back. I've never gained the weight back. I never will because SodaDietNutrition.com, they taught me how to eat, what to eat, and when to eat. It's simply magnificent. I want you to call them up, 866-800-SODA, where you can join Soda for a short time to have results that last a lifetime. Soda weight loss is now SodaDietAndNutrition.com. And you've got to have these guys on your side because the weight loss journey, it can be tough. There can be struggles. Having a real nutritionist there available via text to help you out with any sort of questions, concerns, sometimes it's just straight up encouragement. It's SodaDietAndNutrition.com. And there's no mystery pills, mystery injections, any mystery chemicals you're putting in your body. You're doing it the right way. Learn how. Join the program. SodaDietAndNutrition.com, 866-800-SODA, because SOTA is, say it with me, state of the art.
Want real Broncos talk? Cecil Lammy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue Today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue Today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. It's The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, as we roll along here, just finishing up that conversation about the Avs, we'll get back into the Avs in wholesale fashion with a full-blown pregame show starting at 5 o'clock, walking you right up to the puck dropping at 6, probably just a few minutes after 6 tonight on ESPN. This will be one of the few times, at least so far in the postseason, that the whole country will be able to watch the Avs, not starting at 10 o'clock at night, 10:30, 10:40 East Coast time, where 47% of the population lives. So they get the main stage tonight all to themselves. It's the only game in the NHL, and we'll, again, dive headfirst back into all things Avs at the top of the hour. Before we do that, Christian Brown talking to the Denver Post, and he says, quote, talking about the first-round exit, "It's just unacceptable, especially with the talent we have on this roster. I think when we come here every single year, we talk about championships. That's our mindset and our goal, and obviously we fell short. A first-round exit is not acceptable. We've got to bounce back. We've got to get to work. You can put it on my shoulders. I think this team wasn't resilient enough in the playoffs. You can put it on my shoulders." And then ask for a follow-up to expand on that. He said, quote, "I just think I'm the leader of this team. I'm the vocal leader of this team. And when you don't play well as a whole, you can blame whatever you want. You can blame anything. But I didn't play well enough as an individual, and I didn't have this team ready enough to play in a tough series. So we'll be better. I'll be better. I'm looking forward to next year when we can respond," end quote. Okay, obviously, I don't think anyone really had these quotes on our bingo card saying, "I'm the leader, I'm the vocal leader." I didn't have these guys ready to go. I just didn't foresee that. Call it yesterday morning. But he finishes saying that, "I'm looking forward to next year when we can respond." I know this is a different angle of looking at it, and maybe I'm just still frustrated about what happened. But when you say, "I'm looking forward to next year so we can respond," this was the response year. This was the response year. This was the rubber match. This is who you locked horns with in the first round on your way to a championship, and you retroactively said it was actually that series that was the toughest. You were trying to defend your championship, and they knocked you off on your home floor with the largest Game 7 comeback in NBA history. And then that led you to this moment. So to hear Christian, and I'm not even I don't want to kill Christian for this exact sentence, but to be talking about, hey, I'm looking forward to next year when we can respond, you don't know if there will be a next year. You don't the response, that was the last 10 days.
Yeah, your chance to respond was Game 3 after you blew a 19-point lead on your home court, and in the other locker room they're talking trash about how you can't play defense, and they're calling out guys by name. Multiple guys. The best players on your team.
Literally.
And they didn't respond. They went up and lost both games in Minnesota. You had a chance to respond in Game 6 when the basketball gods, lowercase g, just try to gift you the series with 3 of the Timberwolves' best players not able to go, and you go up and lose by double digits and can't get into triple digits yourself. Respond. Like, you had a chance to respond.
Several times.
Yeah, so, I mean, most of what he said I like, right? There's an accountability that you want to hear. There really wasn't any excuse-making in that.
No.
It was all accountability, and he's pointing the finger at himself, which you want to have guys do. Doesn't mean, though, it's not odd to have Christian Braun saying he's the leader of the team, he's the vocal leader, and I didn't have these guys ready.
It almost sounds bizarre if I'm just being transparent.
Yeah.
It almost, like, it borders on the bizarre.
If you didn't know who said that, and I just read you those quotes and said, okay, Zach, what Nugget said these words today to the Denver Post?
Oh, that's a good question. It wouldn't be Jokic. It would probably be, honestly, Jamal. I think that here recently, very recently actually, Jamal has fallen on the sword more and taken, like, deep levels of accountability. And
Post game after game 6, he did.
Yeah.
I got to play better. I was terrible.
Yeah, he said if I played better, we would have won.
Yeah, which
so
he's not wrong.
No, he's not. So I would have probably guessed Jamal. How about you?
I probably would. If it was right after game 6, I would have said Jamal as well because AG didn't play. If all things being equal and there weren't injuries and it was just those quotes after a loss in the playoffs, I would have said Aaron Gordon. I just think it's weird for your 7th best player to be saying those things. And I don't think he's being egotistical. I don't think he's being delusional. I don't think he's trying to prop himself up. I think there's a pretty good chance that's true. And I think Christian Braun just pointed a finger at and shined some light on what the biggest issue with this team is. And it's because that guy is your leader. He's your vocal leader. He's the guy that's supposed to be getting you ready. There are plenty of players on the roster who should be that, and there's a guy that is the head coach who should be doing a lot of those things, and instead it's Christian Braun. With all due respect to Christian Braun, but really? I mean, he's the guy that's being counted on for those things. It should be Jokic. He's not. We have a disagreement there. You don't think it's in his DNA. I just don't think he wants to do it for the Nuggets. He'll do it for Team Serbia. It should be Jamal. It should be AG. It should be Bruce Brown. It should be Tim Hardaway Jr., veteran guy. I just think Christian Braun should be way down that list, and maybe not 7th, but he's not higher than 5th. That's alarming to me.
It is. It was a bit disturbing. I thought it was a bit bizarre, but it's not the only thing Christian said, and it's not the only thing we learned about Christian Braun either. Details next.
The Avalanche, the Wild. Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Score! Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait, everything on this IHOP value menu is just $6?
I told you it was amazing. A huge plate of pancakes, bacon, and eggs is just $6.
Wow.
There's also French toast, a ham and cheese omelet, and they got a BLT and fries now.
Okay, we're coming here every day.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Feast for just $6 with the IHOP value menu. $7 in some locations, available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Spring is here, but if you're feeling exhausted with no energy and no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. 1 in 4 men has low testosterone. At Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and see if you qualify for TRT customized to your body by expert providers. Choose self-pay or insurance. You can even have your treatment shipped to your door. Low T Center's got the highest quality testosterone, and their providers tailor it to you, so you know it's effective. Put the spring back in your step. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsburg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great, I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at hellsburg.com.
Cecil Lammy here from my friends at windownation.com. I know that May's weather is pretty nice, but you don't have to wait until the heat hits in May and beyond to try and avoid high energy bills. You need to upgrade your home's windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows. You get new energy efficient ones from windownation.com and you get half of them for free. Plus, you could even get them with no money down. Schedule your fast free consultation now at windownation.com.
Dan Jacobs with the tale of two cousins. They were both in the same accident. One cousin said she didn't need a lawyer. And when the insurance company offered her $3,000 and said they would pay all of her medical bills, that cousin was very upset because she cashed that check. And when the medical bills kept coming in, the insurance company was long gone. The other cousin called 303 Law 4040. She was offered $30,000. And when we said no way, the judge used scare tactics trying to get her to accept the lowball offer. That's where a lot of lawyers will try and get their clients to cave in, but not us. We said that's fine. We'll tell her story to a jury. Before we could even get up and walk out of the room, that case settled for $1.1 million. That cousin was very happy. The insurance companies work for their shareholders. At 303 Law 4040, we work for you. You don't have to feel guilty about asking for what's fair. We hope you never need us, but accidents do happen, so go ahead, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040.
Be careful if you haven't filed taxes in a while. The IRS is going after non-filers like never before. Whether you have income taxes or payroll taxes that have not been filed, Advanced Tax Solutions can help you get back in the system and avoid trouble with the IRS before they show up or send you a scary letter. Call the people I trust, Advanced Tax Solutions. They'll help you get back into the system and off the IRS's radar. 303-753-6040 or visit advancedtaxsolutions.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. You know, I was talking to a listener last week, single mom, 2 kids, working full-time, and she told me she felt like she was drowning. Prices are up, bills stacked, paycheck gone before it even hits her account. But she's a homeowner, and that changed everything because American Financing stepped in. They're helping people just like her and just like you every day. No judgment, just real solutions. They looked at her whole financial picture, not just her credit card debt. With a refinance, she learned she may delay 2 mortgage payments and she may close it as fast as 10 days. And when she heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, she finally felt hope. 1 manageable payment, more breathing room, a chance to stop financing her past and start funding her future. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped her make her equity her exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000. That's 303-695-7000, or visit them online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan presents The Drive with Zach By and
this Christian Brown specific conversation, and then I want to, and just a program note, we're going to dive head first into all things Avalanche in a full-blown 1 hour preview ahead of game number 2 right at the top of the hour. So you are not going to want to miss that. But I want to talk some big picture nugget things here as we are sort of in the afterglow of, I guess afterglow like insinuates something that was really positive, right?
Yeah, this wouldn't be afterglow. This is like the postmortem.
Yeah, the postmortem.
Yeah.
Whatever that stage is when the bomb goes off, but then like the radiation is starting to set in.
Yes.
Like we're in like the
Chernobyl. Correct.
Well, it was
hazmat suits. Were
yes.
the full 9 yards.
Well, it was a nuclear loss in Game 6.
It really was. That's not being hyperbolic.
No, Brian Windhorst of ESPN said he thought it was the biggest first-round upset since the 2007 We Believe Golden State Warriors knocked off the 67-win Dallas Mavericks when Dirk Nowitzki disappeared into the European mountains and no one had heard from him for months. It was put on that level.
Yeah, it was a shocker. They were the favorite to win the series going in. They had the fourth best odds to win the NBA championship.
Yeah.
Heading into the playoffs. They get bounced in the first round by a depleted team. Had everybody played for Minnesota, it still would have been disappointing to lose in 6. Still would have been like, man, how did you let that happen? We'd still be talking about should David Adelman be fired.
Sure.
That still would be a conversation. When you lose when they don't have the guys they didn't have, it is Chernobyl. It's just the basketball version of Chernobyl.
Yes.
It's completely unacceptable. It's a disaster.
Yep. And that's where we are. So we're sort of picking up the pieces. And with Christian, he does this interview with the Denver Post where he calls himself the leader of the team, the vocal leader. Quote, I didn't have this team ready enough to, play a tough series, all that stuff. He was also asked about his contract. And Christian Brown's contract is being referred right now before it kicks in as potentially the worst contract in the entire NBA. Okay? That's what's being discussed in NBA parlance right now. Not local, but I'm talking about coast to coast nationally, people who cover this league and see this contract and see the drop-off that he had even from a year ago. Now, you hope that he can rebound, and that's the best bet that you have here because you're not gonna sell off Christian Brown and think you're going to get what you want in return. Which we'll have that conversation, big picture roster standpoint here in just a minute. But I want to finish these quotes. He said, quote, I was rewarded for my work on my rookie deal, so I understand the expectations are higher and I need to be better. That just is what it is. So as an individual, I understand I need to get better. I need to play better. I got to get healthy first and foremost, but there is no excuse. He also had a quote in this Denver Post article when he said, injuries that people know about and also injury that no one knows about. And apparently, in addition to the ankle, that was a severe high ankle sprain during the season. He misses like a month. He tries to come back. He's a shell of himself, misses another handful of weeks, comes back. A little bit better than before, but still not close to what he was athletically. I mean, this is a guy, you remember him dunking on Rudy Gobert, and like he finishes like chest to chest, and then they're face to face, and Rudy grabs him around the neck. Like he didn't look anywhere capable of finishing over Rudy Gobert, within the last 10 days or so.
The explosiveness was gone. He still had the dunk in Game 5 where he pointed at Jaden McDaniels, which I thought was going to be the moment when the series kind of turned around. But that was a breakaway. It was for the most part, right? It wasn't in traffic,
right,
going up and dunking on a multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year.
So apparently that in addition to the ankle, Christian also sustained an injury and developed swelling in his left calf that happened in game 1 here in the second round, according to sources with knowledge of the situation. So you start stacking up another soft tissue injury. Now, this one, happens in the course of a game, okay? But damn, James.
It's alarming. There were so many of these throughout the year, so many of them that just seem to linger. It's not only that they sustained them, Zach, it's that they couldn't get rid of them. They just kept, like with AG, it just kept coming back. Whether it's the hamstring, whether it's the calf, like they just couldn't get well. These are elite athletes. You don't see this with other teams. And you can say, they were snake bit. We joke about how many guys they had during the year, but we'll reevaluate them in 4 weeks. Okay, reevaluate them in 4 weeks. We just saw Anthony Edwards come back in, 10 days? May not have been that long.
No, it wasn't.
And his looks and how it looks on TV isn't always, indicative of what the actual damage was, but it certainly looked worse than anything we saw the Nuggets suffer, including Jokic's knee injury. And it was always just, we'll get back to us in a month. It almost just sort of feels like there's an element of laziness or
I don't think it's that.
Or lack of urgency, at least during the regular season, to get guys back. And then it's almost do we know what we're doing? It's kind of set back in, you're behind the times in what everybody else is doing. There's got to be a reason for it. And when Sean Payton got here and when Greg Penner took over as owner, they looked at it and said, we're having too many guys miss too many games.
Yeah.
Too many games missed for this roster. I don't know how the Cronkies don't look at this and say, what is going on and what do we need to do and what do we need to spend to solve this issue? If they had a bunch of guys blowing knees, the rolled ankle falls into it's basketball. It's to some extent, you watch a basketball game, it's like, how does this not happen constantly?
Right.
That's just the nature of the sport. Nothing you can do about it. Soft tissue injuries, to a large extent, are unacceptable. They really are.
Well, in this kind of wholesale fashion, that it's part of the
sure,
part and parcel. The story of your season is largely, in part, soft tissue injuries, and this is where organizations, if you go about it the right way, you can win on the margins. There's no second apron for your training staff or your coaching staff or your player development programs. That's you. And so, they do need to take a hard look at that. And that's what David Adelman said at the end of the year. He said, we're going to look at everything. And the first thing that he said was the training staff. So there could be some frustration there. I also thought it was interesting in this piece from the Denver Post that Christian's extension, there was a line in there that said, quote, it was talking about the year he had last year, that and a vote of confidence from Jokic guided the Nuggets to prioritize him over Peyton Watson in preseason extension talks, a league source said. So this is another one of these instances where, and this is normal, I'm not saying that it's not, but it hasn't been as normal for Jokic specifically to be weighing in on organizational decisions.
At least that we know about.
But here in the last couple years, we have this piece of evidence. We have the Russell Westbrook piece of evidence that Jokic wanted Russ brought in here. Jokic wanted Bones gone. So here, that's just a few examples here in the last, call it 2-3 seasons where Jokic is a part of organizational decision-making. That's probably a good thing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a good thing.
No, it doesn't sound like he's a very good GM based on those 3 decisions.
Not so, and Michael Jordan couldn't run a basketball team, and Wayne Gretzky couldn't coach hockey.
Right. Now, I will say, though, finding out what we just found out about Christian Braun, and that we knew he had the ankle injury, and he played through it for most of the year, tried to, and gutted it up in the postseason, played with this calf injury throughout the rest of the series. All the more reason, sign me up for giving him the money and not Peyton Watson. This Peyton Watson situation, it infuriates me. And everybody just says, oh, you know what? He's got to protect himself. He's going to get the bag down the road. You can't risk that. He's being paid this year to play basketball. He's under contract. Show up and play basketball. You owe that to your employer. You owe that to your teammates. What injury would have had to happen for him to significantly barring some catastrophic knee injury, he's going to get paid anyway. This is an organization that took a risk on you. You averaged 3 points a game in college, took a risk at you, developed you. Now, you did a lot of the work too, if you're Peyton Watson, but developed you, had the patience with you, paid you during all that time. Then you get to be to the point where you're arguably the fourth best player on the team. They really, really need you, and you're going to put your feet up and say, "Nah, I'm good. I don't want to risk getting paid."
I'll give you some pushback on that, all right? We see it similarly in some ways, different in others. We'll parse through that. Also, big picture, we need to have a sobering conversation about the current state of the Nuggets, and I'm just going to warn you guys, it's not for the faint of heart. Also, full-blown Avalanche Game 2 preview at the top of the hour. We're going to get to it all next as we're on the doorstep of 40 consecutive minutes of commercial-free sports talk coming up next.
The Nuggets need a fresh spark. So why bring back David Edelman? After another postseason full of issues, confusing rotations, and tough questions, Denver doubles down on its original mistake. Is this loyalty or lack of imagination? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Join us at Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade Event, our biggest trade event of the year, May 14th through the 16th. Trade in your RV and get the highest value guaranteed. Then upgrade for less with new RVs starting as low as $94 a month. Plus, take 25% off select maintenance services. Save up to 40% on camp-ready must-haves. And enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Red, White, and New Trade Event at your local Camping World, May 14th through the 16th. We'll see you there.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Is your financial advisor managing your risk or just a spreadsheet? Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. Many financial advisors rely on target date funds, which are one-size-fits-all portfolios that don't know your name, your family, or your goals. And that passive management can leave you dangerously exposed. At Trajan, we look at the whole picture, not just the stocks everyone else buys, but the private market opportunities most advisors ignore. And as fiduciaries, we build a strategy around you, coordinating your investments, tax strategy, and estate into one cohesive plan. Your financial life deserves more than just a generic portfolio. Real planning isn't a stack of statements. It's the confidence of knowing where your income will come from for the next 30 years. Good enough isn't good enough for your family. It's time for a change. Schedule your complimentary consultation today. Call 855-TRAJAN-1. That's 855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Private equity investments require accreditation. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. And if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Your air duct cleaning experts, Ductworks.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here for my friends at Ductworks. Spring cleaning isn't just about what you can see, it's about what's hiding behind the scenes. Your ducts collect dust, allergens, debris all winter long. It's one of those places you just don't think about. Ductworks is Colorado's top-rated air duct cleaning company, trusted by thousands of 5-star reviews. They're recommended by more contractors than anyone else. Their complete ventilation cleaning package scrapes and vacuums every inch of your system, removing all the dirt debris that other companies leave behind. Less strain, better airflow, lower energy costs. They'll show you before and after photos so you can actually see the difference. And they clean every line. Nothing gets missed. Before your AC runs all season, make sure the air you're breathing is actually clean. Give them a call at 303-425-0985. That's 303-425-0985. Or visit them at ductworks.com.
303-425-0985.
Shop SummitRacing.com to keep your ride road trip ready. You'll find everything for pre-trip maintenance. Plus, enroll in the rewards program to get more power in every purchase.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Powered by Advanced Tax Solutions. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to The Drive with Zach By and Phillip Lindsay on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan.
All right, just to continue the conversation we were just having, we'll jump back into Avs at the top of the hour. Game 2, just over 1 hour from now. But before we do that, I want to have just take a sobering look at the current state of the Denver Nuggets. I don't want to spend too much time on Payton Watson here because I know you and I can get caught up on this or that, and the next thing you know, 10 minutes is gone, and that's good. That's a good problem, but I just want to try to stay focused here. I just want to give you baby pushback on the Payton Watson stuff, or really not even pushback, but just play devil's advocate rather. It drives you nuts that he was not out there playing. I would just say this, couple things. One, we don't know the extent of the injury. Like, we're not in his body. And if you go back, there was a hamstring pull in the season. And then he was supposed to come back. It was on I forget what the exact timeline. It was like 4 to 6 weeks. He had a setback during the comeback that pushed it out like over 2 months. And then he does come back and he pulls it for a third time. You pull that hamstring for a third time in a, call it 4-month sequence, that is very impactful, very meaningful. And I would just ask you to try to go into the recesses of his mind where potentially that training staff said, you're good to go. And you went out there and pulled it for a third time, and your teammate, Aaron Gordon, is cleared to go out there, and he pulls it again, and it derails his season. So there's natural elements that could be at play. I'm not saying that they are, but just natural speculation. There could be mistrust in the training staff that he's watched maybe for a couple years at a time with someone like Aaron Gordon. And I know it's so easy to say, and if it's true that he was healthy and he didn't play, everything that you're saying is correct, but we don't know that. And he is on the doorstep of a $100 million contract. He said, you're going to get paid anyway. I think his thought process, his camp's thought process could have been, hey, if we go out and show out in the playoffs, we could be getting 10% more. But if you go out and pull that hamstring for a fourth time in a single 4-month sequence, you could lose 25 to 30% of the check. Obviously, he's going to get paid regardless. But the upside against the downside, if you were to put yourself in his like agent shoes, I just don't want to dismiss that too. I'm not saying you're crazy or you're wrong if P-Watt was healthy, but I think those two elements at play are very relevant.
Those are fair points. I think that's another red flag about this training staff, that if that's the case, wow. I can understand why he might be thinking that, or anybody on that roster might be thinking that. Go get a second opinion then and get an outside perspective on it. The other problem I have with this issue is fine. Maybe it would have gone down 20%. Maybe. But people, when they frame this argument, tend to look at it like, you were either going to get $100 million or zero. Like, he wasn't risking the whole deal. And that's the $80 million, still a pretty good bag. Like, your family is set forever unless someone, you or someone in the history of your family there in the family tree is just a complete moron with money. Nobody's going to have to worry about money again. You're going to be fine. You're either a competitor or you're not. Right? And the athletes that we admire the most from when we were kids until now are not the guys who made the most money. They're the guys who did anything to get out there and compete, whether it's Jordan in the flu game, whether it's Kobe shooting the free throws, trying to get into the postseason after he tore his Achilles, trying to get like the 8 seed. He shoots the free throws, walks to the locker room, they offer him a chair, and he goes, blank Paul Pierce. In other words, you either want to be Paul Pierce or you want to be Kobe Bryant. Are you a competitor or are you not a competitor, P-Watt?
But again, but you're assuming that he's 100% healthy, and we don't know that. I watched him warm up before Game 1. He didn't look anywhere close to an explosive athlete, an NBA player. He was stiff as a board. So again, I like, two things could be true at the same time. Was I told that before the series ever started that you're probably not going to see Peyton Watson at all in the first round? I was. Did he look healthy before Game 1? He didn't. Could he have been and didn't play and chose to not play? The way that almost Ayo Dosunmu, I kind of look at that like, you thought you were going to lose Game 6. You have a sore calf. You've seen these guys have sore calf and pop their Achilles. You're on the doorstep of a payday. Like, again, like, does that go into the calculus? Like, it could have. So we just don't know. But I understand why you're speculating, but still at the end of the day, we just don't know.
I get it. I just think you owe your teammates. Christian Brown was out there with a bad calf. Aaron Gordon tried to play with a bad calf and bad hamstring and all sorts of things.
But Christian Brown didn't pull his calf 3 times and then risk a 4th one.
But this calf, I get. Like, with Ayo and the calf, like, okay, you blow your Achilles, that is going to change your value in the offseason. You pull your hamstring for a 4th time, I just don't think it makes that big a. I don't think it makes that big a difference.
But what's the difference between CB and Aaron Gordon comparatively to P-Watt?
They've been paid.
He's
going to get paid anyway. I don't.
Yeah, you're reducing it down way too simply. Like, whether it's $100 million, $80 million, it doesn't matter. It's paid. Well, that's the difference of $20 million. If you're advising him,
there's no evidence it was going to cost him $20 million.
No, but there's no evidence that if he pulled it for a 4th time, you just think he's going to get paid whatever he like.
And
no,
there's
that
no
matters.
evidence he was going to. So instead, whatever he got paid this year by the Nuggets, which is more money than most people listening to this show will ever make in their life.
James,
we're fine with him just going,
yeah.
I'm good. I don't have to work because I might cost myself 10% down the road. Like, come on. You owe it to your employer. You owe it to your teammates. And I think it is very much a 2026 mindset, and it's a very selfish attitude. It was all about P-Watt.
If he was not healthy.
But that's the basis of the argument, is that he was healthy,
or if he
enough
was
to get
healthy.
out there.
If he was healthy, but we don't know that for sure. So you're calling him selfish. You don't know if it's.
I'm calling him selfish if he was healthy enough to play and he didn't play because
that's
Clutch
fair.
Sports told him not to play.
And that's fair.
Because it might cost him 10%.
That's fair. If he was 100% ready to play, or even if he was 90%, like, good to play, and he didn't, that's fair, but we still don't know that.
But the greatest champions we've ever watched in any sport, how many of them sat out for that kind of a reason? How many?
How many of them hadn't gotten paid yet? Like, again, that goes into the calculus. Like, I don't know, James. Like, again, it's easy to say, but like, if like that was your son, call it, to like localize it to the most personal degree, and you know your boy had pulled his hamstring 3 times, and you know everything that's coming with that, and he's not right, and he's trying to get back, and he is not 90%, and he's on the doorstep of getting paid, like, you might, like, be thinking about your boy and not through the lens of the team your boy plays for. I'm trying to serve 2 masters almost here, because I want both sides of this story to be told, but we don't know at the nucleus of why he didn't play. Like, we don't know, and there's 3 hamstring pulls. Like, that's inordinate. Like, that's it. Could be as simple as this: I don't trust this coach, training staff. I don't trust what they're telling me. They told me I was ready to go before. I pulled it 2 games into returning, 3 games I think it was into returning. I'm just not doing it again. There's too much at stake. There's too much at risk. And
I just think we've gone too far. The spectrum, the pendulum has gone too far where it's what's best for me. And that's the only thing that seems to matter in a lot of these equations. So you brought up, hey, what if it was your son? My son tore his ACL playing for Broomfield, putting it all on the line this year on the football field for his teammates as a junior, now having to go into his senior year, coming back from that, getting cleared a week before the season opener, knock on wood that we get to that point. And there are kids that are leaving the program to go to greener pastures. And I understand why they want to go to greener pastures, because it's what's best for them. But whether it's my son, a couple other players that got injured during the year, it's like, what are you saying to your teammates? Like, well, what's best for me is what's most important, not the guys who were out there putting it on the line, like physically, literally putting it on the line. I'm bailing because I got a better offer. I think that can be problematic in life.
And obviously, we're all hoping your boy continues to recover. But if the difference was $80 million and it's going to change the trajectory of your family's history and lineage and family tree, I don't know. It just,
the difference
I'm sitting here
wasn't
sounding
$80 million. The difference was
it could be $20 million.
Okay, and if you get $80 million,
it's so
your family tree is going to be fine.
It's so easy for you to say.
It's not 0 and 100.
It sounds like I'm playing like I'm his defense attorney. I think that having the conversation on a one-way street with not taking other factors into consideration, especially when you mix in potential lack of trust for a training staff that said you're good to go, and 3 games later you're back on the shelf with the same injury for a 3rd time, you might say, you want to know what? I'm not doing number 4.
I think long-term, the guy that's a competitor first, a good teammate, and is willing to risk, instead of making 100, I'm going to make 80. That guy who's a good competitor and a great competitor and a good teammate is going to make more money over the course of his career.
You would
maybe
think so.
Payton Watson's just happy getting the one bag, and fine, okay, good, and you're never going to be an all-time great. You're just not with that mindset. The all-time greats don't sit on the sideline when they could go out and play in a playoff game. They just don't. Find me one.
James, I don't have all the information. If you knew your son wasn't healthy, if you knew his ACL wasn't right, you probably wouldn't want him to go out there and play for Broomfield. If you knew he wasn't right.
No, but an ACL is different than a hammy. And he's also playing for free.
Yeah.
He's not under contract.
Yeah.
He's not getting paid to be out there. They didn't develop him from a guy averaging 3 points a game at UCLA into a player that's going to make $100 million.
All I'm saying is we don't have all the information, so I'm not going to call someone selfish when I don't have all the information.
I hear where you're coming from, but the basis of the argument is that the hypothetical or the assumption that, hey, he was healthy enough to play. His folks at Clutch Sports decided probably not worth the risk.
That could have been the case.
We don't care about the Denver Nuggets. We don't care about Nikola Jokic. We don't care about Jamal Murray. We don't care about Aaron Gordon. We don't care about Nuggets Nation. We care about your next contract. And at the end of the day, that's your agent. You're the boss, Payton Watson. You're the boss. And if you were healthy enough to play, you should have played. If you weren't healthy enough to play, I got no problem with it.
Okay. So we're on the same page then at the end of this thing. If you were healthy enough to play, you should have played.
Right.
If you weren't healthy enough to play, you shouldn't have played.
But so many people...
That's the information that I have.
Whether it's on these airwaves, whether it's on X, are sitting there saying, no, he shouldn't have played. Shouldn't have taken the risk. And I have a fundamental issue with that. If you're healthy enough to play, you're under contract. I think Stan Kroenke and Josh Kroenke are cheaper than they should be. But last I checked, the check's clear. If the checks are clearing and you're putting them in your bank account, your job is to show up and play basketball if you're healthy enough to play.
I agree.
Okay.
We just don't have that information. Unfortunately.
Okay. Well, we almost got on the same page.
Almost. This is KKFN. And KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver, and KRS FM Laramie. We are coming with it, and we are coming for it. It's Zach By hanging out with James Marilat, who's filling in for Phillip Lindsay today, and we are The Drive, powered by Regen RX. All right, here as we roll along, shifting gears. And I really want to go because we could just keep going down this big picture roster, and we will. We're just going to table it.
You even prefaced it, hey, don't sidetrack me, and then I sidetracked you for 10 minutes.
It's not just you, because I feel like I have to rebuttal, and we're sort of just.
It's all right. It's all right. It's a long off season. We got a lot of time to get into it for the Nuggets.
It's all good. It's all good. We do have a massive game awaiting us here. Game number 2 at Ball Arena in just about 1 hour from now. Puck drop is scheduled for 6. We know it'll probably be closer to 6:05, something to that effect. And I know that Game 1 obviously went the Avs' way, but it didn't mean it was peaches and cream. Defensively, there has to be a real adjustment game over game. There's got to be an adjustment in between the pipes for a better version of Scott Wedgwood, if that is, in fact, who is between the pipes tonight. We believe that's going to be the case based on some of the historical sort of hallmarks of morning skates and what that looks like. So we think that's going to be the case.
Depends on how their conversation went going to the water cooler.
Oh, my gosh. Stop. Oh, James?
He'll be between the pipes. I will be shocked if he's not tonight.
Well, if you don't know the context of why James just said what he said, earlier today, Bednar was asked if he feels comfortable with going with either goalie.
Yes, I do. Like I said this at the start, like I can't just go off like conventional thinking of like it's just one goalie, you know, like that's for me, it's not the way our team operated all year and we had a lot of success. So I feel comfortable going with either guy. I'll have reasons why I go to one guy and why I would go to the next guy based on my conversations with them and how we're playing and how they're playing and when rest is needed. But I do feel comfortable that we could go to Blackwood at any point and he would be good for us.
All right, that wasn't your favorite response. Briefly explain why.
It's odd to me, first of all, and I didn't even catch it the first time. But he basically said, I don't believe in conventional thinking. I'm not going to just go off of conventional thinking of having one goaltender. You mean the entire history of the NHL, essentially? Of like, this is how almost every Stanley Cup winner and Stanley Cup contender goes about it. They have a guy. It's like, I don't go about conventional thinking of kicking a field goal up 7-0 when a blizzard's about to roll into town. Sometimes conventional thinking it's conventional thinking for a reason.
Sure.
Right? Like that part of it's weird. And then, you know, if you wanted to base it on who's playing well, got it. Okay, that makes sense. If you want to play it, which he mentioned, if you want to play it based on, hey, who's tired? Okay, he mentioned that. I get that. That makes sense. I don't think that's really a factor in the postseason, especially when they're not going to play again for 4 days. I don't like based on my conversations with him.
James, I think he's just talking. You know, right after he said that, he said, and how we're playing, how they're playing. I wouldn't get too bogged down with that one quote. And this hasn't been a conventional team, right? This is a club that has had 2 goaltenders for the entire season. They've been the best team in the entire season. And I think that I think we're probably looking into this maybe a little bit too deeply. I think it's going to be Scott Wedgwood. Now, if he struggles mightily and gives up 6 goals again, like I think it's going to lead to a more in-depth conversation. But I think that this has not been. I'm going to say goalie controversy. It hasn't been a controversy, but just for lack of a better term, it's a discussion. How about that? It's been a discussion because the guy that has played great is not supposed to be the starter. If Scott Wedgwood were the starter, we would have never had these conversations. But he's making $2.5 million. Mackenzie Blackwood is on the big boy deal. And so I think that Bednar is just to a certain degree, like these goalies can be, tricky. Like they're like closers or field goal kickers or like your putting game. Like a lot of it is mental. And I think that he is just continuing to massage the situation with his words knowing that with his actions, it's going to be Scott Wedgwood.
I think it is too, but it's still I'm going to go based off what the head coach is telling us, and what he's telling us is they don't have a number one goaltender. And all the people who want to throw stats in my face and talk about how he got robbed by not being a Vezina Trophy finalist aren't listening to the head coach. He's telling you we don't have a number one goaltender. Because everybody else would say, yeah, that's our guy barring injury. If you truly have one, I just think, and I understand that's what worked in the regular season, but the Nuggets also won a lot of games by having a great offense in the regular season.
Yeah.
That doesn't always work in the postseason.
But hold on a second. The last time the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup, Jared Bednar was the coach, and they did play multiple goaltenders.
But they played multiple goaltenders because Darcy Kemper got a stick in the eye.
I got it.
He almost lost his eyeball. That's why he got benched. He would have played every game if that hadn't happened.
And it was Pavel Francouz, right, at the time.
And Frankie went undefeated, which our friend Will Peterson, who's going to join us in a bit, loves to tell me. It's like, yeah, one of those games was 8-6 against Edmonton.
Yeah.
So
context.
Exactly. Exactly. You are much better off if you just know who your guy is. If you just know, that's better for the goaltender. That's better for everyone in the room. It's better for the entire organization. I think they know it. I think Jared Bednar is just playing silly games at this point.
To a certain degree, I wouldn't call it silly games, but I would say gamesmanship. I would say gamesmanship and trying to not crush the confidence of Mackenzie Blackwood. Because if he came out, and there's really no need to come out and say Scott Wedgwood is the guy and Blackwood is the number two. That doesn't really do anything other than satisfy us as media.
No, but wait a minute. They're more worried about taking care of the backup's confidence.
Well, you may need him. What if Scott Wedgwood takes a stick to the eye tonight?
But how about bolstering the starter's confidence? Oh, I'm more worried about making sure Jared Stidham feels good than Bo Nix feels good.
All right, that's an extreme example. I mean, if Jared Stidham played half the year, that's not apples to apples.
And Bo Nix led the league in touchdowns and in yards and passer rating. And Sean Payton just refused to name him the starter heading into the Buffalo game. We'd all said, what is this guy doing?
Kind of feels like training camp after Bo was a first-round pick and he was competing for his job. Where there is a more real goalie conversation is on Minnesota's side.
Yes.
And so we saw earlier today, I mean, it was announced, John Hines, a coach of the Wild, he's making a change. After one game, they are pulling Wallstedt from the net and putting in Gustafsson. And he talked earlier today on that switch.
Gus is going to be in net tonight, and there could be a tweak or two on the lineup, but some of it will be game time.
What led to the decision in net with Gus?
Well, I think a lot of things. Every time you make a decision, I think in a lineup decision, you take a lot of things into account. We've had two very good goalies all year long. Gus has played a lot of good hockey for us. Wally's taken the brunt of the playoffs. He's played 7 straight games. Played very well. The quick turnaround at the end of the series to come to Colorado, and we have confidence in both of our goalies. They're both excellent. They both played really good hockey. We believe in either one of them can win us a game, and I think it's a good opportunity to get Gus in the net. He's hungry to get in. I think he dealt with not playing for a while. Obviously, Wally played very well. Our team won and continued to go through, but we got another excellent goalie that's hungry to get back in the net.
All right, so we have another hockey coach saying that they believe in both guys.
Yeah, and then in the biggest game of the year, he doesn't know who to go with, and he's pulling a name out of a hat. That's why it's problematic.
Well, here's what I'll say about this one. All kidding aside, is that what's going on over there is more tangible and real than what's going on here. And I think that it is pretty quick to sort of pull that lever. And it's got to be, I would imagine, it's got to be a real, not consensus, but a real vibe in that locker room, from the Minnesota Wild of okay, Wallstedt was great, while he's a rookie. He just gave up 8 goals. Let's go back to Gus, as they affectionately call him.
And I think the rookie thing is the biggest part of that, right? It's not a must-win in terms of, hey, if they lose, they're eliminated. But it feels like a pretty much a must-win for the Wild from the standpoint of, I know Vegas came back and beat the Avs, a few years ago, 5 years ago when they were down 0-2 in the series and rattled off 4 in a row. This is a better Avs team, and I don't know that Minnesota's has the championship medal that the Golden Knights had back then. So it feels like a must-win for Minnesota tonight. And if I'm in that room, if I'm the head coach and I'm in that situation, I think I'm going to entrust a veteran and not roll the dice on the road with a rookie who just gave up 8 goals.
Yeah, if you're going to go down with the vet.
Right, exactly. At least if you're getting on the plane tonight at DIA and you're flying home down 0-2 and you lost again with a rookie after he gave up 8 goals, you're going to be kicking yourself.
Right.
If you lose tonight and you give up 8 goals again and you're down 0-2 and it's like, hey, both goaltenders did it, at least you'd be able to look yourself in the mirror and go, I'm trying different options. We just can't slow them down. I do think as the coach, that's a decision. If it goes badly for the Wild, you could at least sleep at night with that decision. I don't know that you do if you insist on going with the rookie again out of stubbornness and you find yourself in a 2-0 hole.
Well, that being said, Gustafsson, he's only played in 11 postseason games ever. So, and by the way, that's more than Wedgwood. Right? He started more games in the net than Wedgwood has. I mean, it's going to be his 6th postseason start tonight.
Maybe there's a reason we saw a 9-6 game. When you start rattling off the experience of these guys, I know Wedgwood looked really good in the first round. Getting LA was kind of the perfect opponent for a guy trying to get his feet wet with postseason starts.
1,000%.
That's not a team that's going to hang 5 on you. They're just not. They're more than content to play a game that, hey, both of us are at 2-2, and let's see if we can get a lucky bounce and steal a game. Like, that's kind of their MO, especially against a team like the Avs. They reminded me of the football team that's fine punting.
Sure.
We're going to make you go 85 yards.
Right.
Yeah.
We're
going to make you go 85 yards to try and score. We're not going to give you anything easy.
Yep.
That's what the Kings were. Great opponent for a goaltender making his playoff debut.
Yeah, and all Wedgie did within that construct is give up 5 total goals in a 4-game series, and just 2 of them, and I still can't believe that's true, 2 5-on-5 goals. That's it, over the course of a series. What I hope is that it did not inflate Scott Wedgwood and misrepresent who he is in a series like this, when stylistically it's vastly different.
It is, but it's also preposterous to me that we're even having the conversation. We're going to have Will on here in a bit. We're going to ask him the question, hey, who's in net?
It's going to be Wedgwood, James. It's going to be Wedgwood.
But we're going to ask the question
we will.
of a team that's 5-0 in the playoffs.
Right.
Were we asking the question when they were 5-0 and it was Grubauer?
No.
Now, maybe we should have in hindsight.
Maybe.
In all seriousness.
But they won in spite. They won the Cup in 2022 in spite of their goaltending. Like, from a save percentage, it was a historical anomaly. It really was. They had to overcome, the threshold what is typically required for a Stanley Cup goaltender, and they did it. We'll see how the dynamics unfold here. But again, it's not crazy to think that we could see Mackenzie Blackwood in this series. You hope not. You hope Wedgwood shuts him out tonight. But I think this is going to be a conversation. I don't think this is like a one-off. This could continue to happen.
I agree. And none of us right now, especially because they made a switch, would say, oh, yeah, Minnesota, they got a good goaltender situation. We wouldn't say that now. Now, their head coach is going to tell us, oh, we feel confident in either guy. It looks to me like a guy who's throwing a dart, pulling a name out of a hat, just trying to find the hot hand. The Avs situation, believe it or not, isn't that much different, right? I mean, Wally, as he likes to call him, just beat Dallas. He looked really good against Dallas. Yeah, he gave up 8. Well, Wedgwood gave up 6. Like, it's not that much of a different situation, and that's why it worries me, and it's why I say it's less than ideal, because I feel like it's very tenuous. If they're down 3-1 today at the end of the first period, do we know Wedgwood's in net to start the second period?
Not for sure, but I think he would be. Let's tap in to Ball Arena, where our guy Will Peterson has boots on the ground. Will, we're obviously talking about the dynamics of the goaltending situation, if it's even a situation, but it's enough of one where Jared Bednar is asked about it multiple times this morning. What is your what do you make heads and tails of the dynamic at play? And do you think we've learned something here ahead of the puck dropping in just about 45 minutes on who's going to be in between the pipes?
Yeah, I mean, Scott Wedgwood was, on the ice in the starter's crease this morning, and I understand it was an optional skate, so you can't take that as gospel, but he was hanging out in the locker room afterwards as well. Seemed casual, seemed loose. I'd be very, very surprised if it's not Scott Wedgwood leading the Avs on the ice here in about 15, 20 minutes when they take the ice for warm-ups. I understand if it doesn't particularly go well tonight, it's definitely a conversation, but every vibe I'm getting, guys, is that it's still Scott Wedgwood's net, and that's the way Jared Bednar wants it to be, while also keeping it flexible that he could switch back to Mackenzie Blackwood if needed.
Will, speaking of optional skates, Cale Makar wasn't out there today. He wasn't out there yesterday. Obviously just trying to, let him rest whatever the lower body injury is that he suffered in Game 1. Any update on that situation? Any reason? Let me put it this way. Is there any reason we should be alarmed by that, or is it just hey, don't make him get warmed up for an optional skate. Just let him get warmed up when the lights are on, the TV cameras are working, and the scoreboard's lit up?
No, and I can report to you guys that Cale Makar was also in the locker room this morning after morning skate. He did not speak with the media, which isn't uncommon, but he was just hanging out with the fellas in there. And, for example, we haven't seen Josh Manson here in a handful of days. He was on the ice a couple times, but not really in the locker room, which makes you think he's going to get treatment, right? Whereas if Cale Makar's just hanging out and shooting the breeze with the guys, then he's playing. He's playing. Like, I would be utterly floored if Cale Makar's not on the ice for warm-ups here in just a few minutes because, again, he was spotted in the locker room this morning with the team. So all signs point towards Makar's playing. And it's, again, like you said, James, it's an optional skate. And he took a pretty gnarly hit the other night, so I don't think anyone blames him for getting off his legs this morning, especially with a 6 o'clock puck drop tonight. It's going to be here before you know it.
Yep, we're chatting with Will Peterson live from Ball Arena. Stylistically, game number 1 was nuts. It was historic by definition on multiple levels. I have a sneaky suspicion that it is going to be a familiar type of arc from game 1 to game 2 going back to 2022. Where against Nashville in game number 1, I mean, they were up, I think it was 4-0 at the end of the first. They win 7-2, and you come back into game number 2, and it's like, man, maybe they'll score 8 tonight. They ended up winning 2-1 in overtime on a Cale Makar wrister. Do you see a bit of an overcorrection and more emphasis on defense the way that I do headed into tonight's game?
I mean, maybe, but I think Minnesota made a panicked goaltend change this morning, Zach. I don't get that one at all. Volstead led you through the Dallas series, and they just kind of hung him out to dry in game 1. I mean, that's pretty rare that a head coach will let his goalie give up 8 goals and not yank him at any point. I mean, you could have easily pulled him when it was 3-0. You certainly could have pulled him when it was 7-5. You definitely could have pulled him when it was 8-6. And instead, he just let a rookie goalie kind of wear it. I think that was a mistake by John Hines. And everyone says, well, Gustafson's coming in to save the day for the Wild. Based on what? Based on what evidence? He's a worse goaltender who, since the Olympic break, has not been very good at all. This feels like a panic move to me. So I understand where you're going. Oh, well, the history says tonight will be 2-1 or 3-2 or lower scoring. I don't know. I think the Avs could hang another 5-6 goals on the Wild tonight with Gustafson and net. And if that's the case, then what does Hines do going into game 3? Because he's kind of burned both his guys. There's no third goalie waiting for them. So, sure, if you made me pick, I'd say 3-2, something like that, just where my mind goes logically. But I'm not the Avs having another firestorm tonight and Gustafson being even worse than Volstead was in game 1.
I can see why you call it a panic move, but I can also see why he made the panic move. I mean, it's not a must-win technically, right? The series isn't over if the Wild lose tonight. But, man, then they would have the daunting task of having to beat the Avs in 4 out of 5 games. I think he almost had to make this move when you've got a rookie in net. He just gave up 8 goals. I think if you're getting on the bird tonight, flying home down 0-2, Will, you got to look at it and say, well, at least I tried both guys. It's a panic move, but don't you kind of get where he's coming from? They almost have to win this game tonight if you're Minnesota.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, that he's pretty desperate for the split for sure and thinks that Gustafson gives him a better chance than net. But at the same time, if the Avs go up 2-0, then all they did was hold serve. What's the old adage in sports? Series doesn't start till a team loses on their home court or their home ice. So that's why I say it seems desperate. It seems early, especially with these 3 days off that they're going to have full 3 days off between games going into Saturday. I understand if he made a change going into game 3, but to make one in game 2, basically Hines is with you. He's saying we have to win tonight. I'm just curious to see If the Avalanche light up Gustafsson, then all of a sudden you've shot not the confidence of one goalie, but you've shot the confidence of both goalies. And oh, by the way, you have to win 4 of the next 5 games. I'm just glad we're on the Avs side of things, not the Wild side of things, because it could get real hairy real quickly for them.
And if it gets hairy for the Avs and the Avs were to go on to lose this game tonight, what in your mind before the puck drops would be the reason why that would happen?
That the Avalanche would lose tonight?
Yeah. What would be the central reason why if that were to happen?
If they can't clean up some of those defensive lapses. Because for as much as fun as 9 goals is, and 9 goals is ridiculous. I mean, that was an absolute treat to be in the building on Sunday night, and I'm thrilled to be back here right now. Giving up 6, you could tell the post-game vibe was, woohoo, we scored 9 goals, but also guys going, uh-oh, can't be too excited, we gave up 6. Even Jared Bednar, that first answer he gave to us at his post-game press conference was he had no explanation for what he just witnessed. So, yeah, I mean, if Minnesota scores 4, 5, 6 goals again, they could easily get out of here with a 4-3, 5-3 type victory tonight. So I look for them to be sharper on the defensive side of things. And, of course, that's where Josh Manson is very much missed. I love Brent Burns for whatever reason. He did not have a good game, too, at all.
No.
And then Nick Blankenberg's a nice depth piece, but is he a day-in, day-out starter on a cup team? I'm not sure. So that would be the only way they lose, Zach, is if Minnesota just lights them up again and scores 4 or 5 goals, and maybe Gustafsson stands on his head and the Avs don't have the firepower.
My guess is Jared Bednar did have an answer for those defensive lapses. He just didn't want to tell us or certainly tell the Wild. But what do you think they were? Was it rust? I mean, they hadn't played in a week, right? You're just maybe a step slow. You're not up to game speed. Was it there was a few, you mentioned Burns. There was a couple plays where he just seemed to kind of
space out?
Yeah, exactly. Like kind of just give up on a play thinking, it's going to be in Wedgwood's glove. I don't know. And just kind of stopped. They also had to mix and match a bit when Makar was out. And even when he came back, his shifts maybe weren't quite as long as normal. Like, what do you, if Jared Bednar had a couple lattes and we could get the truth out of him, what do you think the lapses were attributable to?
That the Avs were having a lot more fun playing the Wild than they were playing the Kings, right? Against the Kings, they had to play that grinded out, not real fun, muck it up style of hockey because that's what the coach told them to do, and they knew they could win that way, and it obviously worked. They swept Los Angeles right out of the playoffs. But I think for these guys, they were like kids on Christmas morning going, the Wild want to skate up and down with us? That's great. We can do that all day, every day. We're the best offensive team in the NHL, and by the way, the best defensive team in the NHL as well. The problem is when you play that type of style, it's easy to just have those lapses on the other side. But I think it's a pretty simple answer. I think the Avs were thrilled to be playing wide open, back and forth, up and down hockey, and it worked. They scored 9 goals. It just didn't work on the defensive side of things. But if I had offered you guys, hey, the Avs are going to score 9 and it's going to be a 15-goal hockey game with 14 different goal scorers, you would have signed up for it in a heartbeat. And obviously the 6 is a tough pill to swallow, but it didn't really cost them anything in the grand scheme of things, just like their 8-6 win over the Oilers in 2022 didn't matter. It was just 1 of 4 on the way to a sweep.
All right, Will, great stuff as always. Enjoy the game, and we'll catch up with you. I'm sure you'll be doing your post-game stuff, and we'll hear you tomorrow on The Fan.
Yeah, fellas, I'm standing, no joke, 4 feet from the Nuggets Larry O'Brien trophy as we did this interview, and it's awful nice to stare at, but I'm not sure it's ever getting a companion down here in the Ball Arena hallway.
And just a shot at the Nuggets on the way. How for just unprompted. All right, thanks, Will.
I was just looking at Larry O. Just better times, Zach. Better times. Thanks, fellas.
All right, there he goes, Will Peterson. Okay, what does NHL history tell us about teams that go up 2-0? All right, the way that the Avs have an opportunity to do tonight. There's one thing that the Avs had to clean up that's not their defense, and we'll get to each of those coming up next.
Game 1 wasn't hockey, it was chaos on ice. A 9-6 shootout where defense evaporated, goaltending cracked, and the Avalanche and Wild traded haymakers like it was October, not May. Incredible! Now comes Game 2, and the question is simple. Does it settle down, or does this series stay unhinged? Colorado wants control, Minnesota wants revenge, and after a night where anyone could score from anywhere, nothing feels predictable. Avalanche, Wild. Game 2, tonight. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly
parts.
Support comes from Amazon Business. Free your team from time-consuming procurement tasks. Discover smart business buying where unmatched selection meets AI-driven tools to simplify complex processes so you can focus on what matters most. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids will grow, new memes will come out, but what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from online threats. You'll get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices and no battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices will be working in perfect harmony, and you get our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, no strings. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi, all with Xfinity's 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. To get started, call, visit Xfinity.com, or drop into an Xfinity store. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
I'm Rob Wilhite, and for nearly 50 years, my firm has been fighting for seriously injured car accident victims in Colorado. Serious accidents demand serious representation. We dig into every detail of your case, and we don't back down until we get you the maximum compensation you deserve. If you or someone you love has been seriously injured in a car accident, call the Wilhite Law Firm today at 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com. That's 303-GOOD-LAW or visit WilhiteWins.com.
Cecil here for Window Nation. May's weather is pretty nice, but those hot summer days will be here soon. Don't wait until the heat hits to try and avoid high energy bills. Upgrade your home's windows this month during Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale. Imagine replacing all your windows with new energy efficient ones and getting half of them for free. Plus, you can even get them with no money down and no monthly payment or interest for 2 years. Don't wait to put an end to your window problems. Sale ends soon, so visit windownation.com.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Stoke here for ROX Rocks Heating and Air. It's no secret, the price of HVAC equipment is going to increase this summer. May is one of the best times of the year to buy a new HVAC system. Be ready for a hot, hot summer and get the best prices of the season. Finance a new HVAC system for $200 a month or get 0% interest only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Lowest rate for life. It's our trademarked and most innovative product in the entire mortgage industry. Lock in your savings today, and if rates fall in the future, even as little as 0.5%, we will redo your loan with no lender fees and no appraisal fee. Always have the best rate and maximize your savings. It's only at U.S. Mortgages, and our number says it all. 303-LOW-RATE. That's 303-LOW-RATE or online at usmloan.com.
All loans subject to approval and change. License number 392126.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
You're listening to the Drives Playoff Pregame Show on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
All right, bottom half of hour number 4 as we barrel down the road here on a Tuesday and setting the scene for the puck dropping at Ball Arena here in just about, if you're listening live, it'll be just about 38 minutes from right now. It's, according to ESPN's Counter Downer thing, just about 38 minutes from right now.
Counter Downer?
Counter Downer thing.
Okay, all right. Countdown clock?
The countdown clock, otherwise known as. Couple things here. One, I want to talk about what history says on behalf of the Avs if they take a 2-0 lead. I want to talk about the thing in addition to the defense that they need to clean up, and what does their history from this season say after the Avs give up 4 goals or more in a game the way that they gave up in game number 1, and how do they respond that next game? First things first, NHL history, James, says that if you take a 2-0 series lead, you go on to win that series 86% of the time. The analytics to this series specifically, forecasting if the Avs went up, like what would be the expectation, the win expectation in this series specifically, it's even higher. If the Avs win tonight and take a 2-0 vice grip on the series, it's expected, according to the math and the computers, an 88% win probability.
That's why, even though it's not technically a must-win for Minnesota, it sure feels like it. Those are long odds that they're going to have to try and overcome against the best offensive team and best defensive team in hockey. Like, I know it's happened before. Obviously, it's not 100% of the time that a team down 0-2 has lost a series. But, boy, you'd be hard-pressed to find one where a team was down 0-2 and came back against the President's Trophy winners. Like, that is really stacked against you. So that's why I get why they're making the goalie change. You can't get on the airplane to go home and you're down 0-2 and you feel like you'd left something and kind of you left a club in the bag, so to speak. I think you gotta try that if you're the Wild. It's also why, and I know you're right, and you cited the evidence of what happened against Vegas 5 years ago as an example, and that's not that long ago. It was the same head coach and the 2 best players were still the same on the Avs.
And just to reset, they swept their first-round opponent in St. Louis and got up 2-0 on Vegas, and then the Avs proceeded to lose 4 straight.
So we've seen it happen. I just believe if the Avs win tonight, this series is over. I just do not see Minnesota, especially now that they can't figure out who they want to put in net. They're going to come back and win 4 out of 5 games against this squad. Now, maybe some crazy injury happens or something like that, but all things being equal, I just don't buy it. I think the Avs can all but wrap this up tonight. On the other side of it, if you lose and Wedgie doesn't play well, and Gus, as the Wild like to call him, plays well, boy, does that script flip of now one team has a goalie issue and the other team's got it figured out in a 1-1 series. Huge game for more than just the winning percentage reasons here.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line tonight. There's a lot, and I think this is going to be a street fight. I think it's going to be knockdown, drag out, low scoring game, overcorrection from game number 1. I felt pretty convicted about that for the last 2 days, and hopefully I'm wrong about that. Hopefully the Avs win 5-1, but I think you're going to get Minnesota's best shot tonight. There's some awesome players on that roster, some Olympians, some champions, and I think you're going to get everything tonight. Beyond the historical win percentage of teams that go up 2-0. The other thing that I think that needs to get cleaned up tonight, in addition to the defense, which is plain as the nose on your face, you can't give up 6 goals and expect to win, despite how game 1 went. You got to clean up the penalties. And this has been a bit of an issue since the Olympic break. 5 penalties given up in game number 1. It's great you got through it. That's not sustainable. And really the guy that I'm thinking of in that department, and it's been a theme of his since the Olympic break, is Gabe Landeskog. It feels like every single night Gabe Landeskog is doing 2 to 4 minutes in the sin bin. It can't happen. So for him specifically, it's got to get a little bit better. And it's like the brain dead stuff, like, you know, grabbing the puck with your glove. It's like, wait, who do you think you're fooling here? But it's been a larger theme beyond that for Gabe really since the Olympic break.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Like, I'm okay with some penalties. I'm not okay with a silly one. And the penalty he took in game 1 was a silly penalty. He should have just, slapped the puck into the corner. He grabbed it, had it for a couple of seconds. Like, that was going to get called no matter what. It seemed unnecessary. I would be careful, though, in trying to tone him down too much. I like the attitude he brings. I like the toughness he brings. It's a team that when you're a high-flying team like that, and when we had Will Peterson on a few minutes ago, he talked about how, hey, part of the reason they had defensive breakdowns was everybody's out here having fun, everybody's sinking offense, everybody's like, hey, we're able to finally skate free after that series against the Kings, and, you kind of get caught up in that. You got to have somebody that's kind of doing the dirty work and a grinder and willing to mix it up a little bit. Like, when he's on the ice, they're
different.
They're almost unbeatable.
Correct.
And that's because he does those things. So,
you just got to walk that line.
Do you want to rein back Draymond Green too much?
Gabe's not Draymond Green, but
you get what I'm saying, right?
And just to add texture to what I'm saying, he's taken 4 penalties in 5 games, so far in the postseason. That's just a little bit too much. That's all I'm saying. So, and 5 penalties in a game, that's just too much.
Agreed.
So let's just keep our eye on that dynamic. Also, I went back and looked at every game here this season for the Avs when they give up 4 goals or more. This is what they hold their opponent to in the next game. So again, this is the game following giving up 4 or more goals this season. 1 goal, 3 goals, 4 goals, 1 goal, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 7, 2, 7, 1, 2, 1, 2, 0. It's noteworthy that the 2 games where they gave up 7 was when Gabe Landeskog was not around. Man, so you do the math out. The Avs, the game after giving up 4 goals or more, they are allowing 2.3 goals this year, despite having 2 7 spots mixed in there.
Yeah, and a 4. There were really 3 bad performances.
Yep.
Right? Because doing the math, that's 46 goals they gave up in 20 games.
Yeah.
So 18 of those, though, were in 3 games. The rest of those were a lot of 1s,
yeah,
which I think we determined was the mode.
Yes.
The most common.
Yes.
It was 1s, 2s, and even a shutout thrown in there. So 17 out of 20 times they came out the next game. 85% of the time came out the next game and were great defensively. If they do that tonight, come out and give up 1 goal, 2 goals, or pitch a shutout, they're going to be hard to beat.
There's no doubt about it.
Next to impossible to beat.
There's no doubt about it. And we were trying to figure out or rediscover rather what mean, median, and mode was earlier in the show. Do we remember what the phrase was? It was in the same conversation because it was 4 things. It was mean, median, and mode. But there was one more that was the largest number minus the lowest number. What that was called?
No.
Doesn't it not start with an M?
It does not.
It's like an A?
R.
Range.
The range.
Oh.
The range. The range. Miss Clausy, look at me. I'm on the radio doing math.
Look at the Sun Devil over there.
All right. We have news coming out of Ball Arena. Who exactly is going to be between the pipes? What is the status for Cale Makar? And what is the status for Josh Manson? You'll learn it next.
The Avalanche, the Wild, Round 2. This is where the real battle begins. Every game gets bigger. Every hit gets harder. Every moment matters more. Our guys are in the locker room. Our shows are locked in on every matchup, every adjustment, and every shift in momentum. On your morning commute, on your lunch break, on your drive home. Our shows have you covered from puck drop to final buzzer and everything in between. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver's playoff headquarters.
Progressive's Home Quote Explorer helps you easily find and buy the right coverage for you. It's everything you've always wanted. Well, I mean, as far as a website that lets you shop, quote, and buy insurance in one place. But hey, maybe that is everything you've always wanted. Yeah, people have different types of dreams. And if all you've ever been searching for is a website that helps you choose home insurance rates and coverage, boy, do we have great news about Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume. Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Spring is here, but if you're feeling exhausted with no energy and no sex drive, it may be time to head to Low T Center. 1 in 4 men has low testosterone. At Low T Center, you can book a free testosterone test and see if you qualify for TRT customized to your body by expert providers. Choose self-pay or insurance. You can even have your treatment shipped to your door. Low T Center's got the highest quality testosterone, and their providers tailor it to you, so you know it's effective. Put the spring back in your step. Head to lowtcenter.com. That's lowtcenter.com to book your TRT appointment today.
Tom's Garage Door, Tom's Garage Door. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
I started my first business at 12 years old, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I thought I was crushing it until my buddy down the street undercut me by $2. But he didn't just cut the price, he cut corners too. That's when I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People care more about how you show up and whether you do what you say you're gonna do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we crush it, and we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and the spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. Because when you care about the people you serve, you work harder, and it shows. From repairs to upgrades, call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
Tom's Garage Doors, Tom's Garage Doors. When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Zach here. I got an email from a guy named Mark, retired firefighter, tough guy. Never asked for help in his life, but he told me the rising cost of everything finally caught up to him. Groceries, insurance, prescriptions. It was all hitting at once. And he said, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'm falling behind. I told him there's nothing to be embarrassed about because American Financing hears stories like this every day. They walked him through a refinance, looked at his whole financial picture, not just his credit card debt that had piled up. With a refinance, he learned he may delay 2 mortgage payments and may close in as fast as 10 days. Then he heard the average customer savings is $800 a month, and he said it felt like someone finally opened a window in a stuffy room. One payment, more more breathing room, a chance to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul. American Financing is family-owned, licensed in all 50 states with salary-based mortgage consultants, no upfront fees, and no obligation. They helped Mark make his equity his exit strategy, and they can help you too. Call them at 303-695-7000 or online at AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 18234, NMLS 18234, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hello?
Hey sis, got a sec?
Yeah, what's up?
Take a look at the picture I just sent you. I'm walking into Hellsberg and want to get Mom something special for Mother's Day.
Yeah, she's done so much for us this year. Let's see. Diamond pendant. Oh, she'd love this.
Great, I'll get this, which means you're in charge of flowers.
Okay, deal.
This Mother's Day, save up to 50% on timeless gifts for Mom. Shop at a store near you or at Hellsberg.com.
One real Broncos talk. Cecil Lemmy and Andrew Mason bring the heat on Orange and Blue today. The most passionate intelligence and in-depth Broncos coverage in the game. Weekdays at 5 p.m. on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan YouTube channel. Hit subscribe at Denver Sports 104.3 and never miss another take. Orange and Blue today, powered by Ramos Law, official injury law firm partner of the Denver Broncos. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. You're listening to the Drive's playoff pregame show on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, Denver's playoff headquarters.
All right, final segment here on a Tuesday, previewing all things Avs and Wild Game 2. We're just about 23 minutes from the puck dropping at Ball Arena. A couple things that I want to pass along from a news standpoint. Cale Makar, as we suspected, is playing tonight. He is out on the ice right now, warming up. So that's great news after missing an optional skate this morning and yesterday. So probably just getting off his feet, resting his lower body after taking that shot in that first period in Game 1. So that's good. What's not so great, Josh Manson once again will not play tonight. Man, you can get through tonight with him, but Josh Manson is such a big part of what Colorado does. That's unfortunate news as you're about to get Minnesota's best punch.
Yeah, as this series goes on, if you're fortunate enough to win this series, you go to the Western Conference Finals. Fortunate enough to win that, you go to the Stanley Cup Final. You start thinking ahead, right, of like, hey, if you got to play Anaheim, I think it's going to be Anaheim, even though they're down 1-0. Carolina, the rest of this series, like, you got to get Josh Manson back sooner rather than later. Surviving the Kings wasn't difficult. Surviving a couple of home games here, you can probably get by with it, but, man, that starts to become alarming as this goes on and on and on and on.
All right, so that's on the news front. Thirdly, Scott Wedgwood, as we suspected as well, will, in fact, be the starting goaltender tonight. So we'll continue to evaluate Wedgwood's performance. We'll see. Are you nervous at all?
Yeah, I am. Just because I don't think it was all on the defensive lapses in Game 1. I think about that sixth goal where it's just, I know it's a weird play and the puck was kind of bouncing around, but it's right in front of him. It was like a shortstop fielding a
bouncer.
A bouncer, yeah. It's like, come on. I mean, you could see it. I guess that's sort of my definition of a soft goal is if you can see it.
Yeah.
And you're an NHL goaltender, you should glove it or stop it. Block it at least. If you're screened and you have no chance, okay, I can let that one go. That does make me a little nervous. I also tend to kind of be that guy that's just like, when is the clock going to strike midnight? Right? Career backup for a reason. Played way above his head all season long, especially late in the year. I do worry about it. Do I think it's going to happen? No. But do I worry about it? Yeah.
And just let the record show, this is his second postseason start tonight. Or, excuse me, his sixth, rather.
Right.
So,
right.
This is his first go-round. This is his first true postseason.
And then the other part of it, we've talked about it a lot today, is just if that happens and he plays poorly, then what? Like, as an Avs fan, I just sort of dread that conversation and what that leads to, and it's going to be all week because they don't play again until Saturday.
Right.
And just the fact that conversation would be happening. You go out and you win 2-1 tonight, 3-1, 4-1, whatever, and he plays well, there's none of that conversation. as this series moves back to St. Paul. So that's all got me a little worried, but I wake up at a 6 on the worry meter. Don't put too much stock in that.
I'm not too far behind you the way that we wake up. Okay, let's do some predictions here. Tell me an Avalanche player that you think shines bright tonight. Not Scott Wedgwood, and someone other than, call it Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon.
I have this odd feeling, and he had the highlight of Game 1, and it was a pass. I just have a feeling, and we have playoff Jamal. I have a feeling playoff Val's coming back tonight. That's my guy. I think Val's going to have a big game, put a couple in the net. Again, he sort of seemed to disappear a little bit for long periods of times against the Kings.
And during the regular season.
Yeah, he did not have a great season by any means. I thought Game 1 was his best game of the postseason. He just seemed to be everywhere. He just seemed to be more active. So I'm gonna go with Val. How about you?
I will go with on the YouTube chat presented by Sean Ponda, someone says Zach's gonna go with Netchus. I will. For as good as Marty Netchus has been, and he has been really good in this postseason, do you realize he has yet to score a goal? 0 goals.
That is
here
hard to believe.
Now, he's got 5 points in 5 games. They're just all assists, and he's been a major driver of the offense. But a guy that if he's that skilled, you got to break through eventually in that department. I think that he can actually be a little bit more selfish. I think there was opportunities against Los Angeles, and once again in game number 1 here in the second round against Minnesota, where he can just be a little bit more aggressive. And I think that it's great that he's a facilitator. He is a brilliant driver of that offense, as I mentioned, but I'd maybe be on the hunt for more of your own shot. So I'll go with Marty. I'll overextend myself a little bit. I'll go Marty Netchus scores 2 tonight.
Okay. All right. It does kind of feel like he's due, right? As much as he's been involved with them scoring and what's been going on, for him to not actually have gotten any of the goals does seem a little strange at this point. So that's a good vote. We're kind of both picking the same thing here of like who's due for a breakout game.
Yeah.
And maybe I think mine is a little more hope, where I think back to the year they won the Cup and how good Val was throughout that playoff run.
Arguably Conn Smythe.
Yeah, it should have been in the conversation more than he was. Like, man, I really do think they need him to be that guy or close to that guy again. So mine is probably a little bit more hoping it starts to go that way. Yours is a guy I think that's played really, really well, just doesn't have at least the big stat to show for it. I think you probably got a little bit better chance of being right than I do on that one.
Well, we'll see.
You want him to channel his inner Peewat and be a little more selfish. I got it.
Wow. On the way out. All right, we'll leave it there for now. I have the Avs tonight winning 3-2 in overtime. What do you got?
I'm going to go 4-2. And somebody else, I think, said this. I'm not trying to copy it. I think it's an empty netter to make it 4-2. I do think it's going to be a close game, and I think it's going to be a lower scoring game by a lot.
All right. Thanks for being here today, James.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun.
A ton of fun. All right, we're going to leave it there for now, guys. Thanks for rocking with We Step Aside. It's Denver Sports Tonight coming up next.
The Nuggets need a fresh spark. So why bring back David Edelman? After another postseason full of issues, confusing rotations, and tough questions, Denver doubles down on its original mistake. Is this loyalty or lack of imagination? Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Folks, Sunday is Mother's Day. You need a special gift, something luxurious yet affordable. And I know restaurants, flowers, candies, very popular. But I'm telling you what, she leads a stressful life, does so much juggling between her family and her job. Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here with a great idea. This year, buy her a few hours of peace and quiet at Beau Visage Skincare and Spa. They specialize in wonderful services like luxurious European facials, relaxing massages, and a bunch of other great stuff. Folks, I've been to Beau Visage myself. I promise you, this place is first class all the way. It's professional, first class. They do a terrific job at very competitive prices. For details, all you have to do is pick up the phone, 303-779-5002, or online at bvspa.com. This Mother's Day, give her the gift of rest and relaxation. Treat her like a queen. Treat her to a day at Beau Visage Skincare and Spa. 303-779-5002.